Yo, welcome back. Player's Choice. This is your favorite place to be. Chill, there's nothing like freshly cut grass in the morning. And I got to tell you, as somebody who resides in the city of Denver, Penn, the Avalanche is cooking, the Nuggets is cooking, the Broncos is cooking. I feel mighty good. Chill. We up. I'm telling you right now, man, the NBA season, this has been honestly one of the greatest starts to a year that I have ever seen. We're getting truly elite basketball, whether it's in Oklahoma, whether it's in Denver, even Minnesota looks good. The Lakers with no LeBron look great. I really like what I'm seeing out of the Toronto Raptors. By the way, Penn, as your shared Raptors brother, they're going to be a playoff team like I predicted before the season starts. And shout out to Scottie Barnes. And then if you look at it, the Detroit Pistons, Marsh, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about them, but we're going to get into them today because I think they deserve a lot more love than they've been getting, y'all. Make sure, if you're watching this, go ahead, subscribe to the channel because y'all know this is the best basketball platform on the net. Penn, Mars, Chill, what's up? How we living today?
I like that you're back in the host seat. I'm going to be honest. Because when you were a panelist, you hated the Raptors. You said the Raptors were trash. You said they were horrible. Jakob Poeltl was a bum. Scottie Barnes is mid. But now you're in the host seat, and you like the Raptors again, so I appreciate it.
I said the Raptors were better than the Bucks, to be fair, like 2 weeks ago. So
he's been a little bit more diplomatic. He has been a little bit more diplomatic these days when it comes to other teams. I can appreciate Swiper.
That's cool.
I can appreciate his logic on that. But we had some great action over the weekend. No doubt about that. So
Alfred Sengun putting himself in the MVP combo, Chill.
Let's get serious, please.
I mean, that was a great game. That was a great game, Penn.
It was an awesome game yesterday.
He's leading the number one offense in the league. They're currently the best offense ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever
the best offense ever.
They're currently the pace. They're playing at the best offense ever. Currently, as a team on paper.
To be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised how well he plays off of KD. Now, I think that there's some coaching issues in Orlando that we do need to discuss, like sagging off of KD to double Sengun when Wagner is dealing with Sengun one-on-one. I think that you just take that matchup and just take whatever comes with it. Of all the people on the floor, because they had a lineup of KD, I want to make sure I remember this correctly. It was KD, Jabari Smith, the offensive rebounding guy. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Steven Adams, Sengun, and they had Shep. So if I'm dealing with Sengun, the other four guys on that floor, the one guy who I'm not doubling off of or I'm not sagging off of is KD. He's the guy that I'm not sagging off of. I'm gonna let Sengun and I'm gonna let Wagner work, and I'm gonna see what I'm gonna get defensively from them. But I'm not, if I'm Wendell Carter, I'm sagging or I'm digging with KD at the long ball line when we're only down one possession. That was a bad possession for them. Absolutely bad.
Penn, how impressed were you yesterday with them? Not only, by the way, shout out Anthony Black. Breakout player of the year, Mars. Maybe we're on the way. Just maybe. Anthony Black with the steal misses the free throw because obviously he had to. Pin, and then they run a great inbounds play for Alperen Sengun and turns over his left shoulder versus Jonathan Isaac nonetheless and puts the ball in to give them the tie so they can take it to overtime. How impressed were you with the Rockets and how they were able to climb back into the game, win it in the clutch in overtime, and then continue their winning ways?
I mean, they were down the entire game, pretty much, right? And they were down 10 in the first half. And I had them winning that game because I'm not very impressed with what I've seen from the Magic, and I really have hated the Magic's process down the stretch. Like, I watched the previous game that they had where I think Desmond Bane took like 5 shots. Terrible decisions down the stretch. Just don't understand what they're doing. So
what specifically in terms of their process, Penn, are you just not loving it all?
It's very it's not a cohesive offense. Is that fair to say, Mars?
It looks clunky. It looks like they're bumping into each other. It does.
It does. It feels a lot of my turn, your turn. Passes aren't very crisp. Guys aren't used to each other yet. So I wonder how much of this is just, you're playing a couple of weak offensive links. I wonder how much of this is spacing. I wonder how much of this is Desmond Bane just trying to fit into what they're trying to do. I wonder how much of this is Franz Wagner's mask. I don't know. Playing with the mask is hard, man. Depth perception really messes up. So I don't know. I was higher than everybody up here, I think, on the Magic coming into this season. I thought they were going to run away.
I think Ox picked them to go to the finals, I believe.
Okay.
Is that from Mars?
In terms of regular season success, I think I was. Yeah, I was insanely high on them. I had them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I thought Jalen Suggs was going to be a revelation. Suggs has been awesome. He has been awesome. His teammates have not. So, yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
Well, and I think there's something to this, Chill. So late in the game, what I don't like about teams like SGA, Oklahoma City late in the game, straight ISO, get to the nail. It's a hang pull up, but SGA's elite at that. He can do that. Yep. But even yesterday, the Houston Rockets are running a 3-man game with Cade, Alperen Sengun, and Amin Thompson in the dunker spot. And they get points off of that. They can manufacture points there. The Magic were running ISOs with Desmond Bane or Franz. And I'm saying that I think if you look around the league right now, Chill, even Luka, like as good as Luka is, I'm honestly not as afraid of you running ISOs down the stretch of games as opposed to you running an actual set. And you got an actual 2-man game or 3-man game that you built, because what happens is if you layer the floor like De'Aaron Fox and Wemby could have done and maybe will do in the future, it actually creates so many advantages on the court for yourself, and you don't have to rely on just trying to get by a man or really get a really tough pull-up midi. And I think that's the thing that I think is holding back the Magic maybe in the playoffs as well. I don't know how they're going to manufacture points other than like, Paulo, please save us at the end of games.
Well, when you have a really good isolation player and you got good action, it could work when you are isoing. Because Penn, at some point, I can only X and O you until this point. I need you to go get me a bucket because they know what we're doing. Everybody knows what we're doing. But if I got a really good isolation player and I'm putting him in space, kind of like what was going on yesterday with Houston, where I'm watching Sengun, I was a little worried about Sengun and KD early on in the season because I wasn't sure how it was going to work, how Sengun was going to play off for KD. I know who KD is as a plug-and-play player, but I wasn't sure how Sengun was going to work with KD, and it's working really good. It's working really good because KD knows when to come get the basketball, how to work off Sengun. Sengun knows exactly how to dive and what kind of space to give KD. On top of that, this lead guard thing with a minute is working, but when they take him off the ball and they put him in the dunker spot, that works too. So I think we're at a combination of the two things with these guys. But when we get to the meat and potatoes of the game, it's obvious that KD is their guy. They're going to him. When they go to him with Sengun with that split action, right? With that split action, it works. And KD gets to the spots that he needs to get to, particularly yesterday afternoon, last night, and it works. I like what I'm seeing from these guys. I do.
It's just about winning the space. I don't have a problem with isolation basketball. I really don't. My thing with isolation basketball is when do you do it and who does it. So if you have the personnel for it, if you have tremendous isolation scores, do it. But even if you have tremendous isolation scores, you need the space for them to attack, and you probably need to do something to shift the defense before you get into it. Like, sure. I don't want to jump all over topics, but last night there was a shot by Denny Avdia to win the game where he just dribbled it up the court, dribble. Nobody moves. Nobody does anything. No screen comes. And I understand that if you're Shea, if you're Jordan, if you're Kobe, but you're Denny. It doesn't have the same ring to it, right? Denny, Kobe. There's gaps, okay? So that to me is a throwaway possession. That's the type of possession you end a quarter on, not a game. So
we could have got something better than that.
Yeah, like this type of like rec league basketball, like just I don't want to be ox up here and just start saying like these players don't know how to play basketball. This to me is a coaching thing, right? You set a screen, you open yourself up to the possibility of a moving screen and a turnover. So sometimes it is safe to just go with the isolation play where you minimize the risk of a turnover or an offensive foul and you just take a shot. Safe shot, you don't cost yourself 2 points. But at the same time, there must be something better. We can swing the ball. I know we're opening ourselves up to a turnover, but like, my God, if you cannot throw a pass to your teammate without turning the ball over, maybe you've got bigger issues, right? So I think it's too predictable. So some of the offense that I'm watching is a little too predictable, and I don't think these players are good enough. Shaedon Sharpe, again, like I think he missed 20 shots last night.
Yikes.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you're really missing the fact that you don't really have a point guard. Scoot's out, Dame is out, obviously Drew is out.
So, no Drew Holiday. Yeah.
No Drew Holiday. So we're seeing a lot of teams succeed without point guards, but it's leading to very different types of offense.
When I watched Houston yesterday, I watched and it looks to me like he's as the games go on, and not just as the games in terms of the season go on, it seems like Shep is getting more confidence as the game goes on. Like his confidence is building during that time. Like his stop and pop game, he looks a lot more comfortable playing two-man. Not only does he look a lot more comfortable playing two-man, he looks a lot more comfortable getting downhill, and I really like that about him. I do understand, and I was the one who said that I thought that he could have stood to stay in school for another year, but he was a top 3 pick. He probably wasn't going to go higher than that no matter what he did. So he had to come out, and I do understand that. But I really like him within this offense, and I like the fact that they trust him. The thing that I'm the most impressed with this Houston offense, and it's very much what was going on last year. Mars, you have a tendency as a player, when you know that you're going to get a second chance opportunity, you take more chances with shots because I know we're going to get the ball back. And what I mean when I say I know we're going to get the ball back, I know we're going to get the ball back on the offensive end. Like I'm not concerned as much on the defensive end about them scoring or them, because I know we're going to rebound. But on the offensive end, we got more opportunities than you to get the ball back. So I'm more apt to take chances and to get to the rim and try to do things because I know I'm going to get a second chance. And I really like that. I think they have 4 guys last night in double figures rebounding the basketball. That was a big deal for them.
Chill, he might be the most improved player in the game.
Who?
Reed Shepherd. I don't even think that's that crazy.
It's kind of hard to go from your first year to second year when you don't play.
No, I understand. I'm not saying he's going to win most improved. I'm saying he might be the most improved. He was one of...
More than Josh Giddey? More than that kid in Utah?
Lauri?
Keontae George?
Keontae too, and Lauri. Honestly.
Him too? Yeah.
Yes.
Him too.
Yes. Objectively, from what I see, from them, and granted, it's a very, very small sample. You're saying they're the best offense in league history. I'll say they're out-rebounding everybody. They're outsizing everybody, and they're hitting a lot of threes.
For the audience, they have a 40% offensive rebound percentage this year, which is,
But,
but that's 2 out of every 5 shots. We get an offensive rebound.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm more apt to do something that I wouldn't do normally when I know that we're gonna get a second chance opportunity to get the basketball. And on top of that, that takes a lot out of your defense too.
But
you know what helps?
Alperen Şengün and Steven Adams had 16 offensive rebounds between the 2 of them yesterday.
Ridiculous. But chill, you know what helps? When I got a guy coming off the bench who averages nearly 12 and a half threes a game in terms of attempts off the bench and is shooting 48%. 48% on his threes. And last year he was a below average 3-point shooter, couldn't make a shot. A lot of people were criticizing the pick. But you know what? Generally speaking, I think I trust the Rockets when it comes to talent evaluation. Apart from Jalen Green, they've pretty much knocked it out of the park. So, I think Reed Shepherd has turned a corner. I think all the concerns about they don't have a point guard. I mean, he may not be a prototypical set it up point guard, but he is a point guard, and they have one. And everything about his game, apart from his free throw percentage, is up. His analytics are like scary shit. Like this is some of the stuff that he did at Kentucky.
The thing that I think about when I think about a lead guard is 1, where do you get the ball? 2, are you looking up the floor when you get the ball? 3, what direction are you going in? Because again, if I'm just playing east and west, then that's not productive for our offense. I got to be looking downhill. And I'm noticing as the season goes on, I watch him in Thompson. He's clapping for the basketball on the wing when the ball comes off the glass, and he's looking up the floor. He's advancing the ball. Even when they get in half court, he's getting downhill, getting to the rim, which is collapsing the defense, and he's passing the ball out to open guys. Reed Shepherd in particular, who, like I just said, I think that his confidence just increases as games go on. I really like the development of these guards that they have in Houston. And last night, especially when we got into the meat and potatoes of the game, they recognized, all right, KD is our guy down the stretch. We're going to run our offense through Sengun. Him and KD are going to operate, whether it's DHO or whether it's Sengun on the box. Those 2 guys are going to operate, and we're going to give them as much space as possible to operate, and we're going to incorporate ourselves in it. And it worked. It 100% worked. I mean, to your point, Penn, really quickly, Swiper, to your point, Penn, when KD hit that 3, that was the first lead that they had since it was 4-2. Mm-hmm. That was the first lead they had in the game. Mm-hmm.
So y'all can ask you directly. So, because a I like doing basketball film. What would you do? Conversations with you, Chill, because I love watching you answer the question and get infuriated by the fact that defenders can't make better decisions. Similar to the one we were talking about the ghost screen.
Sure.
So they were running the Cade Alpi pick and roll yesterday, and you would think, and I think Mars would speak to this too, and Real Talk as a Houston fan, you would think the Magic would be equipped to defend it because they're running with Franz, Jay Isaac, and Wendell. So you can put Franz, as they did, on Alperen Sengun and feel comfortable about it. But the problem is Wendell is having to weak side rebound versus Steven Adams, and then that's creating further problems because Steven Adams might be the best at it ever. So for you, when you watch this team play and they're running a 3-man game with KD, Alpi, and then you got Amin in the dunker spot, if you're the opposing team defensively in those clutch moments, how do you defend that? Are you of the mindset that you would want to switch, given that they're both kind of big-to-big switches anyway? Would you just try to get, even if you're a smaller defender, stay in the KD's chest to try to get the ball away out of his hands because he obviously struggled with that? Like, how would you defend that way you're not giving them such easy looks towards the rim?
What I don't want to do is I don't want to switch big to big, considering Sengun is not a prototypical big. Like, he does so many different things as a big. So if I get him on a big that's clunky, that's a mismatch for us. That's a win for us. So when I get him on a slower big, then he can take him downhill. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. He got people coming to his house to build the on-way ramp, the AARP one. Real talk, we're talking about the Houston Rockets versus the Orlando Magic. Life alert, important, by the way. I can't wait for us to get that ad. I was just going to say, real talk, yesterday the Houston Rockets, they managed to come away with a win versus the Orlando Magic. Did you get a chance to put your eyes to that game? I know there were a lot of games happening last night, and then what were your overall thoughts?
I watched that game in its totality. I heard some of the stuff y'all were saying about the game. I disagree about how Orlando was closing the game. I think they have found something. A couple of teams have gone at this late in games against the Rockets, and it's singling out Jabari Smith in isolation. They were kind of hunting him. Desmond did have a couple of good possessions against him, got a few buckets. He finally got a stop. I think want to say late in the fourth against Desmond.
When he blocked Anthony Black.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Yeah, but they were hunting Jabari Smith. But also, I don't
need to stop you every trip, by the way. Let's be clear about that. I mean, you're going to go after me.
But I
don't need to stop you every trip.
There were consecutive buckets made on him consecutively. Mm-hmm. So, but he finally anchored down. He got to stop. I don't like this zone that Houston is running. It's so weak. Like, they almost got dunked on because we were in the zone. Franz catches the ball, I believe, like in a short roll or something like that. I don't know. But he goes down the lane, and nobody stops the ball. And somebody almost got postered because of it. That zone is weak. I think we go to it when Reed Shepherd is on the court, mainly. Probably trying to hide Reed Shepherd defensively.
Is it the top side of the zone or the deep side of the zone? Is it the top of the zone or the back line?
Well, he's on the front of the zone. So it's basically like a 2-3, basically.
Yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's going to be one of the two in the front. And then, of course, we have the 3 in the back. But we try to hide him that way. But ultimately, we did find some stuff offensively swipe that we liked. Franz couldn't guard Sengun, in my opinion. That's not really a matchup. And KD's been finding success getting these centers switched onto him. And so I'll even like that last shot he took. Anytime KD can get to a spot comfortably, be on balance, it feels like he's going to make that shot like 70% of the time.
Stay right there, Real Talk.
He had in isolation.
Yeah, stay right there, Real Talk. You just said that Wagner, he can't cover Sengun. Well, we got to get a different help because one or two things is going to happen. I'm going to either eat Sengun's production or I'm going to get him some help, right? So if I'm going to get him some help, where does it have to come from? Because it can't come from KD, whoever's covering KD. And that's what it seemed like Wendell Carter was doing. They specifically were going to get Wendell Carter on KD. He kept digging at Sengun.
Well, what teams try to do is help right from that weak side at the rim. But the problem is when a man is now in the dunker spot, I mean, he's so great playing that area because he's so explosive and he doesn't need like gather steps to go up and finish like a lot of 6'7" people do. Like he can just catch it, go up vertically and finish. He can also, if you Yeah, 6'7". Yeah. He can also pass out of that. If you try to hurry up and recover to him, he can make an extra pass out of that as well. So I'm in the dunker, KD Sengun 2-man game. That's kind of what we go to late in games, and it was effective last night.
Mars, you are an honorary member of Empty the Clipped FC, and as you have joined that community as of the last 5 months, I don't know if they've sent you your badge or not. I know that there's a Kobe badge with a fadeaway on it. When you watch Sengun, he was 11 to 31 yesterday. I feel similarly to how I feel about Jamal on Saturday when he was. I think he shot like, I want to say like 9 of like 23 or something like that. Like it wasn't. You said what? What'd you say?
Jaden McDaniels did a really good job on him. He did.
Well, but it was like the shots he was getting. It's like he was forcing the issue based on how the coverages he was getting, them overloading on Jokic. So he was 9 of 22. But something I said, Mars, then was I don't care at all about the missed shots because they were required shots. He had to take those given the coverages he was seeing, and that alone put so much pressure on the Wolves defense. We'll talk about that game later. I think Sengun did the same thing. He took 31 shots yesterday. He only made 11, but like those were purposeful, intentional shots that altered how the defense had to collapse on him, which opened up for Kevin Durant. Did you like how aggressive Sengun was, even though it wasn't the most efficient day at all, and really a terribly bad efficient day from Sengun? Did you still like it regardless because of how he played?
I think an aggressive Sengun is a good Sengun, especially when it's around the rim. When you're getting the Sengun that's like early on, because he had it going with his jump shot, he made like his first 2 shots, and then he tried another one, and then I think he airballed it. So like that's not ideal, but when you're getting Sengun close to the rim, I don't mind whatever shot he takes down there, especially when like he had like 8 offensive rebounds. So it's like, yeah, we can just field goal percentage everyone to death and be like 11 for 31. But when you get 8 second chance opportunities, it's like you didn't really shoot 11 for 31 though. So it's like, I don't know if you just take away 8 shots and say he was 11 for 23. I'm not saying you do that, but I am saying that there's inherent value to second chance opportunities being more efficient than first chance opportunities, and he generated a lot of them. I think when you have, especially when KD's not the most empty the clip player ever, especially at this point. In fact, I'd argue he's one of the lesser empty the clip players. So when you have someone like Sengun who can generate shots that he's comfortable taking, and then you have a team that you said rebounds 2 out of every 5 misses, you need someone who's willing to put the ball towards the rim. And Sengun did that. Sengun draws a lot of attention. I'm not sure how many bigs I would say draw more attention within like 15 feet than Sengun does. Just in terms of double teams, defenses loading up on him, and then he seems to be comfortable playing in those situations for the most part. So yeah, I think he's a big contributor to why Houston have the #1 offensive rating with his offensive rebounds, with his scoring aggressiveness. Now, I don't think his shot selection is perfect, but like when he deep seals Franz under the rim and then misses a hook shot, but then scores the putback, like, yeah, technically you went 1 for 2, but like you really you scored on that possession. So I don't know. It's a weird little equation, but yeah, I
do understand.
I'm kind of curious, actually. What's more valuable here? Like, is a missed shot worse, or is an offensive rebound better? Like, what would you rather have? Like, because I'm actually of the mind that an offensive rebound is more positive than a missed shot is negative, even if it's not on the same play. Because I think
I'm of that too, Pin.
Like the best offense comes out of offensive rebounds. I'm also of the mindset, by the way, that getting to the line 10 times, which Sengun does, and did last night, I think that kind of offsets some of your missed shots too. So how much you say he's double teamed a lot, right? Which he is. Certainly. He throws his weight around. He's very assertive. He's very aggressive. He makes his moves relatively quickly. How much of that is contributing to favorable offensive rebounding opportunities for Amen, right? And so I think that's what maybe Spreadsheet FC is gonna dock him for 11 for 31. But I'm watching the game and I'm like, I can't call him negative even if he goes 6 for 30.
And Penn, to add to that point, I think one of the new things that is missed, and maybe this is we're drawing board. FC, which is like play design and mapping.
Okay.
Sure.
There's when you have a leverage inside, you should take the jump shot. Because one of the things that many things I've learned from Yoke, and I've learned from Embiid, and I've learned from other great bigs, when they are, even if you're in transition and you have a cross match, but it's not clean, or if they're overloading and fronting you with weak side help, and you're trying to enter the post pass and you can't. So once you swing, I literally will watch bigs look at the guard or look at the wing pin at the top of the key and just say, shoot it. Because I'm already on the other side of the defender, and so therefore if you miss, there's a 33% chance I'm going to be the one that comes up with the basketball for points or for free throws. So I think to your point, there is something to be said that it is actually analytically positive to take a bad three if you have the leverage to potentially make the three and or get the offensive rebound. I don't know what the numbers would be on that, but in terms of points per possession, I'd be willing to say they're probably close to 1.0 on those possessions, because if you have the leverage from a great rebounder and a good three-point shooter, you really have two chances to win that possession.
So two things really quickly. The exact thing that you guys are praising right now, you criticize Moses Malone for, but that's another conversation for another day. But with that also being said,
for missing shots.
Mars, the divide between you and I right now.
That was a good one, Chill. That was a good one, Chill.
And the divide between you and I right now is you miss a shot, but you get the offensive rebound, so it still ends up being a good possession. With that being said, are we worried about because are we going to get back to the conversation of, is it a touch issue with Sengun? Because he's not going to always be able to get offensive rebounds. Don't get me wrong. I think that Jabari Smith has become a better offensive rebounder. Steven Adams is arguably the best offensive rebounder in the game with Mitchell Robinson. Sengun is a great offensive rebounder, right? So, I mean, because you got great offensive rebounders and you definitely give yourself an opportunity to have second chance points. However, that's not going to always be the case, and it could cost us games when you are missing shots. So is this a touch issue, or are we comfortable missing shots in the meat and potatoes of games because we're probably going to get offensive rebounds?
Depends on the kind of shot. So there are two stats.
Can you do me a favor, brother? Can you answer this on the other side? Because I think this is going to be a little bit of a more longer discussion. I want to give you time and breath to be able to do that. But first, before we do that, y'all know what time it is. You know, my favorite people to work with, Splash Sports. We have a great opportunity with Splash Sports, y'all. Stop playing the house. Play other fans and still win, even if you miss a leg. We got quick picks on Splash. It's their new peer-to-peer DFS game where you pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. Your entry gets matched with other players at the same buy-in and pick count. Now, here's why it's fire, y'all. It's fair matchmaking. You're competing against people, not the house. It requires more strategy. A more diverse range of lines means you can find multiple ways to outsmart other players. You get better odds, so you don't even need a perfect card. You just have to have more correct picks than the group, and you win cash. If multiple players tie for the top spot, they split the prize. New users can use code PLAYER for a deposit match up to $50 and a 100% boost on your first entry. Hit the link in our bio, build your quick picks, and let's see who really knows ball. Also, make sure if you want in, link is in the description and pinned to the top of the chat, or scan the code on the screen. Reminder, you got to be 18 in order to play, 20 in order to play Massachusetts, Iowa, Arizona, and Louisiana, 19 in order to play in Alabama and Virginia. Terms apply, paid partnership. Come run it with Player's Choice on Splash Sports and turn those picks into real cash prizes. Y'all, I love Splash Sports. I have been eating good. I've been living good. I've been paying for a couple dates here and there because of Splash Sports. So, hey, man. Thank you. Thank you, Splash Sports. I can finally afford McDonald's now. Penn,
with cheese on the burger.
With cheese on the burger, chill. You know, that's an extra 10 cents. That's nothing, because, you know, Penn said if you can't put $12 together, you can't talk about the team. So, Penn, really I won exactly $12. Got me and my date 2 doubles and some fries and a drink for $12 exactly. Man, I was living, Penn.
Yeah, she gave you a 1-star Yelp review afterwards.
Hey, man, look, I'm doing the best I can, man. Grinding these streets, brother.
Chill. That's fascinating, but I love talking stats with you. Who is the number 1 team in 3-point shooting percentage in the league this year?
The Houston Rockets.
Who is the last team in 3-point attempts this year?
The Houston Rockets.
Who is the number 1 team in offensive rebounding this year?
The Houston Rockets.
Long shot, long rebound, right?
Yes,
It's
sir.
a really weirdly simple equation, which is when you drive as much as they do, when you take middies and floaters around the rim and you have 2 7-footers almost all the time, you will get a ton of offensive rebounds. So we have heard a lot of stuff about the NBA changing over the last 10, 15 years. We've talked about the death of the center. We've talked about every team got to play the same way. We have old heads who are talking heads on podcasts saying every team plays the same way. You're telling me that the number one offense in the NBA takes fewer threes than everybody else and routinely plays non-shooting centers. Go figure. Go figure.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to a point to where the analytics first showed, right? Because kind of from, if you want to credit D'Antoni and Phoenix with running Amari at the 5 and Boris at the 4. But then if you want to go to Miami when they moved Chris Bosh to the 5 and would play Battier and Braun at the forward spots. And then you fast forward and then we get like a death lineup as far as the Warriors when they slide Draymond to the 5 who's 6'7", right? Again, Mars. Yeah, got it again. So the game had become smaller as far as the front court, right? But then when analytics, and the reason why that happens because analytics show, right, you space the floor, you create more three-point opportunities, you get more threes up, that mathematically wins games. But then once we also got the data that offensive rebounding is such a positive, we're starting to see 2 big lineups again, right? We're starting to see the Jared Allens and Evan Mobley's, Jokic and Aaron Gordon. Now, Aaron Gordon, he's provided now vertical spacing and horizontal spacing with his shooting. So, that's a plus kind of out of nowhere. But
look at all these terms, real talk.
Same difference. And now with the Rockets, right? It gets a little clunky. I'm not gonna lie. When you watch them play Alfred and Amin and Adams at the same time, there's like, holy, right? The best offense is literally throwing the ball to the rim and then one of the 3 of them getting it and trying to lay it back up. Like that's the best offense that we run because there's no spacing on the court.
Sure.
However, I understand why Ime still goes to it so consistently because, I mean, the data shows that it's proven out to be great offense.
Well, real talk. You
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Penn. Real talk. You brought up an interesting point because I'm thinking to myself, okay, the era that we play in, and you talk about the double big, well, we need as many possessions as possible because the 3 ball has now made it so the game could get out of control really quickly. So if the game can get out of control really quickly, how can we keep ourselves possibly in the game? Well, we need the ball. Well, if a team goes on a 12-0 run, if we only get in the ball 3 or 4 times, that doesn't help us, as opposed to if we got a big guy or even 2 big guys underneath the rim, when, to your point, we throwing the ball at the rim and we getting rebounds, now we're getting extra possessions. And not only are we getting extra possessions and, to your point, layups, but we also getting threes, which possibly keeps us in the game. I don't know if I'm out of line with that, but that's what I think.
One of the reasons that the D'Antoni Suns worked is because people were not used to guarding at that pace. So it was a deviation. Like, it's all about deviation from the norm. Like, what is the average team doing? How can we effectively scheme our roster, build our game plan so that the average team cannot deal with what we're doing? So, we don't got Shaq here, but Steven Adams hella strong, right? So he doing something that Shaq's doing. Like, I don't mean to be out of line
offensive
here.
Rebound yesterday, holding off Wendell with one arm. He got the offensive rebound with one arm and holding off Wendell with the other arm. Like,
yeah, like to understand Shaquille O'Neal's impact in the early 2000s was basically like you had to send 2 to 3 players to crash him off the offensive glass or deal with him in the post, which opened up space for everybody to cut, everybody to shoot, right? So when you don't have a Shaquille O'Neal here, but in the aggregate, you put like 3-4 bigs together that create the same type of load in the paint through aggression, offensive rebounding, size, whatever. You're constantly going to open up the cleanest threes ever because you always have players out of position, right? You always have players who are sending like if I'm a team that has to scheme against Steven Adams, I'm probably having to box him out with 2 guys. What's that going to do? That's going to open up a 3-point shooter on the corner that he's on. So I think they're taking like some of the most open threes in the league. They got 2-3 very, very effective 3-point shooters. So it'll be very interesting to see how this works out. I mean, they're number 2, or they're number 1 in terms of offensive rating. They're number 2 in terms of points per game, and they're not taking threes, Joe. And that, to me, the math doesn't math, right? Because threes are worth more than twos.
Yeah, but the threes that they are taking, that's the one thing that I do like about Houston. The threes that they are taking, they're not bad shots. Like they're not shots where guys are taking shots off balance and guys are. I mean, I know how Mars feels about the pull-up three. KD has implemented that into their offense, and it does help, no doubt about that. But, I don't cringe when I see Amin Thompson at the long ball line. I don't. I don't cringe. I don't cringe when I see it. And the reason why I don't cringe is because he will make one. Like, he's not one of those guys. He's not Sohan, I mean. He's not anybody like that. Like, he will look at the basket, and he will crack the long ball, and he will make one, maybe even 2 of them. And he will also get downhill and get Shep involved in the game. He'll get KD involved in the game. And I think that they take really good threes. I think that's one of the reasons why they don't shoot a lot. They don't shoot a lot of threes is because their offense is efficient in other areas. And I think that the 3 ball just adds to it.
I mean, he's shooting 20% from 3, but I mean, shout outs to Amin Thompson.
Hey, I'll take him.
And I don't know, Journey still hasn't catching strays. He's shooting 50%.
I'll take him making 1. I love it. Shoot it.
I want to add this last little tidbit. I think the reason also why I think double big lineups are able to come back is because that guy down there in San Francisco or wherever they're located at now, 30. Since he's aged, there's no other player like that still, like that we've ever seen. The problem with playing centers during the Golden State run is that your slow mobile or not mobile center is having to either try to play drop coverage against Steph. That's dumb because he's going to hit the pull-up three. Or he's going to have to try to switch out onto Steph. And 2016 Steph is definitely cooking bigs in isolation, right? Or you have to blitz the pick and roll coverage, which then sets up the Draymond 4-on-3 game, which he mastered. And so what
year did it switch, real talk? Which back? Like,
as far as the double bigs coming back?
When did that start coming back to you? Because Horford and Embiid, I guess there was Horford and Embiid for a little bit.
Yeah, the where I saw it really, where a team I saw was Boston 22-23. They would run Robert and Al. And those lineups, if you go back and look at their lineup data, that was their best lineup when they played together. And I think that was for a reason. Now, obviously, Al still provided the spacing. And I think nowadays you would still like one of the bigs to be able to shoot. So
80 and somebody said
80 Boogie was
that was supposed to be. Yeah.
That was fun. That was
the best
fun.
2K team I would have loved to play with, by the way, Mars, ever.
I would have loved to see that in the playoffs. Before he got hurt.
We only saw it for like 5 minutes, though. So it wasn't something that was a recipe for success. We didn't see it that long. To your point, real talk, I think what was going on in Philly with Joel Embiid and Al Horford, it looked like it was starting to work in Cleveland with Mobley and Allen, because I caught that high-low action with them. But with Steph Curry, the problem is there's nobody like Curry. So there's nobody to implement that. So you'll live with other guys shooting the long ball. That's not to say that I'm just going to let you shoot the long ball. It's different than living with Curry shooting the long ball. Because with Curry shooting it, more times than not, I mean, even though you get a 2-for-11 game, when you get late in games, you don't want him shooting. You want somebody else shooting. And because he's so damn good, and because he's been so damn good for a long time, and now it's getting to be this because he's older. There's the double big lineup is now it looks like it's now kind of seeping its way into what the NBA is.
But and then real quick, y'all, because on the other side, I actually have another question about this. Because I think real talk, you bring up an interesting point. Then we'll get to the fast breakdown, some of the super chats to talk about the rest of the games that happen. I think some big games and some big storylines that are coming out of the rest of the year. But y'all know, we love us some game time here at Players Choice, y'all. Now, I'm telling y'all, I love when I tap into this app, I love going to comedy shows. People might not know this. I love Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle. I also am a big theater fan. Shin Yun is one of my favorite productions in the world. They only come to Atlanta but once a year, and every year I try to make time to go watch it. I love watching different kinds of plays and theaters, Shakespeare, all kind of stuff. Game Time is by far the best place that I tap into. The prices are great. The simplicity of the app is great. Everything about it I love. And the great thing about it is when you use Game Time, you get to know your fees up front. There are no checkout fees that, like, man, $45, $50 more than you thought that you would get at other sites. They get zone deals, so if you choose a section, Game Time will choose the seats. You'll get the best deal possible. You also can get seat views when you look inside the app. You can literally get panoramic view from the seat to see exactly what your vantage point is going to be. And on top of that, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. I love it. So you get great tickets, on-time delivery, no checkout fees, and is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. It is great. So make sure y'all download the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app. Use code PLAYER. Make sure that you let them know that we sent you. This phenomenal app in Game Time, I'm trying to tell y'all, it makes it worthwhile. Tap in, especially for your favorite NBA team. All right, y'all. We're back. So one thing I wanted to ask you here when it comes to this is for the group. Because when I think the thing about the Warriors was at the time, they had the most efficient players that we had seen in that era in their respective spots. So you had Steph, you had Clay, but then you had like Sean Livingston, you had obviously Kevin Durant, you had Harrison Barnes. They just had gunners everywhere. And I think what happened, Chill, is it's not just that small ball style started fading out because of Steph and Clay's decline. What I actually think led to this also is the bigger you get, the more opportunities you get around the rim. And so I think that Embiid, Horford, when you get Horford, Robert Williams, and then you start getting like into remember Jokic, Mason Plumlee, then you get Jokic, Aaron Gordon. Teams started to kind of see, man, there's a formula to this. And then I think what really took it to the next level, because Denver did it with AG in 23, and then what happened is you get Kristoff, and then you get Al Horford, and then you get Ihart and Chet Holmgren, and then out of nowhere, then you get Steven Adams and Alperen Sengun in a playoff series.
Yeah.
And that is their best two-man game they have. So, Chill, is it simple as we respect that you want to go small and shoot threes, i.e. the Clippers, but we actually can beat you more often than you can beat us if we have good size around the rim, because we're going to win more possessions than you will on the offensive end, and we're going to get every defensive rebound responsible. So even if we give up a three here and there, the odds are we're still going to win so many more possessions just because of how much easier it is to score on a putback or a dunk or a layup as opposed to you from three.
Well, two things can be true, Swiper. So, Penn, I understand the fact that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson came along and the three-point revolution basically changed the game. And before them, it was Steve Nash, and these guys were playing fast and they stretched the game out. So I understand that this is the way that the game is going, which would explain why the big man, the conventional big man, was dying. Shaq is gone, Olajuwon, all those guys are gone. So in order for me to be able to survive in this era, I have to be able to do that, right? I got to be able to push my game out to the long ball line. Otherwise, I'm going to be obsolete. Now, I'm not going to be able to shoot the ball like Steph Curry, but I have to be respectable at the line. However, I'm still a big guy, and I got to do big guy things. I still got to rebound. I still got to protect the rim. Right, I still got to catch lobs around the rim. So, with that being said, I can do both of those things as long as I'm still doing the big man things. As long as I'm still like what Steven Adams is doing, is giving us extra possessions. As long as I'm still finishing around the rim. As long as I'm still protecting the rim while you guys are diving to the rim. As long as I'm doing that stuff, I think that with being able to stretch the defense, like what Steph Curry was doing, like what Klay Thompson was doing, now adding guys like Boogie into the league, adding Anthony Davis, who was doing that for a while. When you do that sort of stuff, Wemby now is doing it. As long as I'm still doing big man things, I think that still works. And now I implement a guy like Luke Cornett in with Wemby, and I think that our offense just becomes way better, way better.
Well, I also think because the best players in the league, it had shifted, right? So after we get past late 2010s, early 2020s, like we go from, okay, we have to figure out as a league how we guard Steph Curry, and then a 6'11" transition freak emerges, and then a 6'11", one of the most skilled big men we've ever seen emerge. So now we go from trying to figure out this 6'2" fella, right, which then drives most teams to go down in size and become switchable
he do the
and
same
and
damn
all
thing
that
that
kind
this
of
dude
stuff.
does. What the hell?
Right, but now those 6'8", 6'9" centers and forwards, they can't guard Jokic. They can't stop Giannis. They can't guard Joel Embiid. So now you also have to counter that. Like, okay, well, we have to figure out how we're going to guard Joel Embiid from getting 40 in 30 minutes. How are we going to stop Jokic from absolutely dominating down low because he's just putting that little brother on his back, getting 5 feet away from the basket and hitting the hook shot every time. So it also was the bigger players became the best players in the league after we made the adjustment to trying to guard, the little guy.
I fought it for as long as I could, but I did recognize that this is the game now. And as a big guy, you have to, change your game. Otherwise, you're not going to last.
We're going to get into some of these crunch time chats because there's been a lot of good super chats so far that are relating to some of the stuff that we're talking about. And we want to make sure that their super chats get respectfully addressed as they are addressed to Penn, Real Talk, Mars, and Chill. We got a $20 super chat from DSG Piccolo. Hey man, if that fake A defense don't start being real, they're gonna have me on the timeline posting the AJ vid. What's the AJ vid? Don't know. In Memphis, got Clay looking good. I'll give them 30 games before I crash out. Chill. Mavs getting whatever they want. Shaking my head.
That Portland game, Clay did kind of go. Yeah, shout out to Clay.
Tomani been getting fried all season. We just saying nothing about it, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah,
that's your guy. That's your
guy. Yeah,
shout
out. I'm saying nothing about it.
Shout out to you for censoring yourself in real time. That's actually pretty impressive.
I don't curse anyway, so I mean, I try to retain my mouth. Well,
I
said it once, and I apologize for saying. Sean. Quan, $5 super chat. Rockets were the 12th ranked offense last year. Their first this year through 12 games spread. It's Alpi has a bigger role. KD is the difference. Is KD the difference between why their offense is 1 to 12 this year?
Yes.
Sure, you got people working outside.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Chill, no, it's fine. No, chill. I'll tell y'all. Chill, you getting a ramp built. Chill got a bigger house than y'all realize, man. I'm just trying to tell y'all right now. That Chill's on the 4th floor.
Talking crap
right now
about him while he can't talk. He's gonna unmute himself to respond to you.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, chat. Y'all know what that reminds. Hey, Mars, I don't know where you live, but hey, real talk. 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, I used to be, and then my window be open. Like, hey, boy, get up! Come help with that. Come help with the stuff outside. That's exactly what that reminds me of.
See if you got a voice isolation setting on your mic. Also,
I do. I do have that, and I thought it was on, but they come right to the window because the deck is the deck is right
so
there.
You better tip them
because I actually have the same thing going on outside my window as we speak. I don't know if y'all hear that or not. But.
No, we don't. Not at all.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, because they're not. They're mowing a lawn for Chill. They're mowing a patch of grass for you. That's not the same thing.
Anyway,
so let me get to this real quick.
Can we get back to Mars because Mars, don't think I didn't hear that about Tomani. He is a bucket of extra crispy. He 100% is. They actively go after him. Like teams, no question about it. They look to get him into action. They look to get him in isolation. I find him being overly aggressive a lot, and he fouls a lot, and I don't like that about him because last season, with the busy hands, he was really good at beating guys to spots, being really aggressive without fouling. His discipline definitely has changed this year, where I find him jumping on a lot of head fakes. I find him getting jumped into and fouling a lot. And one of the main reasons why Portland's defense was as good as it was because of him. Not so much now.
Yeah, very, very disappointed. Also, yes, Kevin Durant is one of the greatest offensive players the game has ever seen. So it's
why nobody
no surprise that offense has become better when Kevin Durant is employed.
Some of the reason
Choosy,
they're
how that
they're pulling Tamani out in isolation though, is also pulling him away from the rim. So he's a really good weak side defender. So it makes sense to bring him as far away from the basket as possible. So
that super chat though, I actually think the opposite of that super chat. I know like part of it was
DSG Piccolo's.
Fred is out, so like now that means we're doing like better. I actually think the opposite. I don't think anybody thought the Rockets were going to be a top 3 offense in the league heading into the season.
If you say you did, real talk, you lying. If anybody said I was going to be a top 10, you lying. No, you didn't think that. You did not.
Yeah. Everybody knew it would improve because Kevin Durant, obviously. But I actually think if Fred was on the team and available, if he played the right way, how I'm envisioning, I think then them being a top 5 offense would actually maybe be sustainable for them, because I think he brings some of the elements that they still miss, right? Then we get more amid not on the ball. You have a point guard that does have to be guarded in pick and roll, which then opens up.
Y'all dudes really don't like a man on the ball, huh? Y'all just do not.
I mean, it's not better than Fred.
Okay,
it's not better than Fred.
I'm fairly certain in a playoff setting he's going to be in the dunker spot. But
yeah,
get your regular season reps in. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got a problem with in the regular season when you have the number 1 offense. I don't think that super chat was saying that they don't need Fred. I think the super chat was saying that there's no Fred, so you can't credit Fred for Kevin Durant's impact. I think that's what he's saying. Like
but
Houston are a number 1 offense despite not having Fred.
Is Kevin Durant having a great season by Kevin Durant standards? No. This is largely being anchored by insane offensive rebounding, very good coaching, and just relentless post presence. I don't know, chill. Like,
and the fact
how we talk about impact, like that's
still, by the way, Mars.
Yeah.
Still.
Like, chill, the stuff you were talking about with the the thing that the big man has to do, right? We just outlined how Alperen Şengün taking 2 guys is going to open up offensive rebounds everywhere else for everybody,
Sure.
And I think that that's the same thing with like any good paint penetrator, any good passer, any good guy who's good at ball reversals. There's all these things that people do on the court that never get credited. Like, so for instance, if I'm a good point of attack defender, does my weak side shot blocker have more of an opportunity to get weak side blocks? Yes, because I'm able to delay the offense so that he actually has the time to recover. Whereas, no offense to Reed Shepherd, spent a lot of time saying he's really great, but you know where he's really not great? 30 feet away from the basket in isolation, where Desmond Bane just dusts him. Well, and he doesn't get back into the play. So now you're not helping Alperen Şengün be a good shot blocker, whereas Fred VanVleet would. I think the one player, weirdly enough, who's probably sustained the biggest hit from Fred not being in the game is Alpi. I think Alperen Şengün would be more effective with Fred, which is crazy to say because he's been arguably their best player. So I don't know. Like, I think.
Well, we also gotta recognize that Şengün has definitely got better from last year. I think his passing out of the post has got better. I think he's a lot more patient on the box in terms of reading defenses. I don't think he plays as fast as he did. He doesn't get rushed. In the limited time that I've seen him this season, he doesn't seem to get rushed. When he's dribbling, the 1, 2, 3 dribbles, he seems to have a purpose. Like before, when he was reading defense, it looks like he wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do. Well, should I do this or should I? No, he's reading defenses. If he comes down, it's quick hits. He sees Wendell Carter digging with KD next to him. If he comes down here, I'm getting off the ball. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm getting right to it. If he's got the ball in the mid post and he's driving downhill, he sees Amin Thompson in the dunker spot. You're going to come up to me and I'm going to drop the ball right on the floor to Amin Thompson. His offense, even though he's processing it faster, it seems like it's slowing down and he looks like he's a lot more patient in it.
So there's a super chat right here that actually pertains to the next game. I want to get to you all, so I want to get to this quickly. Most in a $5 super chat. Free my goat Harden. Deserves better. W host wiper. W Pistons. We look legit. And I absolutely, y'all, I need to not rant. I don't want to do that. Emote maybe is the best word to say. I feel very, very, very badly for James Harden right now. Because
real talk, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear it.
No, but here's why.
I don't want to hear this.
But here's why.
I don't.
Here's why, chill.
I'm not interested in listening to this.
Yes, you are, because you're gonna like what I have to say.
This is bullshit. But go ahead.
Because Real Talk has said, why does James Harden always getting all the slack for why this team ain't doing this and that when he's not even the best player? And I've thought about this multiple times. Now, obviously, Real Talk, that's an agenda with Real Talk, but I agree. I agree with this one. I know you're right.
Not an
Real Talk.
agenda.
Just sidestep it. Just sidestep it. Just sidestep it. All right, just sidestep it. But
Okay,
I do want to say, for the people that are unaware, and I mean, at this point, you're living underneath a rock, and you're listening to the woke media lie to you about James Harden. I don't think people realize this year, James Harden is averaging 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, 46 from the field, 39.8 from 3 on 9 attempts a game, 91% from the free throw line on 7.6 attempts a game. He's going harder and playing better than he did last year when I had him third team All-NBA. There's an argument, Mars. He has been, so far, one of the 6 best point guards in the league this year, behind Cade, behind SGA, behind Luka, right behind Brunson. Maybe, and that, I mean, really, I don't know. Maybe outside of that, that might be it. James has
been better than Curry this year. Has he been better than Curry this year?
Yeah.
Well, Curry's been good. I don't.
Oh, now you want to agree. Like I said, James Harden has been the best old head in the league this season. That's why I said.
Yeah.
He's been the best old head in the league.
I was arguing KD, not Steph. Thanks.
He been better than KD too.
Nah, KD hooping. KD.
But people, but the chat, y'all kind of nasty chat. And again, because I'm hosting today, I don't want to get lost in the narratives and nonsense. But I'm trying to we need to reiterate this. You're like, well, yeah, Harden's always great in the regular season. Let's see in the playoff. He's 36 years old. I just don't think people are appreciating that. We're in year 14 of him being a truly great offensive engine. 14. He's 36 years old, dominating. And the Clippers, their only surviving strategy they have this year is James Harden, please be great. If you watched that game, Chill, versus the Boston Celtics yesterday,
I watched it yesterday.
They had no business getting back into that game. But thank you, James Harden, for doing what you do and being great. 37 points, emptying the clip for this team. Went to the line 15 times. Chill, one thing you love is forcing the issue. If your team doesn't have it going, forcing the issue. He got to the free throw line 15 times, pulled them back in, and Chill, going back to the whiteboard, that last play that they ran for James Harden, Real Talk, you want to know what it reminded me of? It was a full court, 3/4 pass to Zubac that was a throw out to James Harden. Do you know what that reminded me of, Chill? Let's go back about, what year was this? What's Real Talk, 2021, 20? No, it might have been 19. The Villanova national championship game.
18.
The game-winning shot. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Penn, you remember that? They ran basically the exact same play. They just ran it for Harden on the other side of the three-point line, and he almost made it. Y'all, I think they will go on a run this year where they'll win 4 or 5 games in a row. They'll get right back into 500. But I'm telling y'all, man, Harden has honestly been great for a large majority of the year, and he does not get the credit he deserves, especially given the fact that he's been better than Kawhi this year. He's been more available than Kawhi again this year, and he's really their only engine they have that keeps them going and afloat offensively.
Chill, I know you don't want to hear it, but I do agree with the sentiments that Swiper just laid out. This is a problem to me. I don't know how James Harden, and anybody that knows me knows I'm not the James Harden guy. We have the Brit for that. But James Harden gets the blame last year because he flames out in the Game 7 fairs, right? But he was the best player for the Clippers last year. We come to this season, Kawhi Leonard's playing in preseason, right? He's looking like he's going to mess around and play maybe 60-plus games. He's out right now. He is injured, right? I don't want to make it seem like he's just sitting out games. He's hurt. And yet again, James Harden is the one being asked to carry the load for this team. But then come playoff time, if James Harden has a bad game, everybody's like, oh, my God, pitchforks are out for James Harden. And I'm like, that's not fair. This guy has been the best player on this team now for 2 years. And he deserves his credit for what they do and whatever success that they do have.
He's been nothing short of fantastic this season. And if I look at the lineup that's going on with James Harden, if you think about it, outside of Zubac being a guy that they run offense through, they have nothing else but a bunch of finishers. They don't have anybody else that they can go to for buckets. It's James Harden. Like, Collins is a finisher. We ain't running offense for Collins. Chris Dunn, he's a D&3 guy. Like, he's a guy who knocks down open shots. He shifts to the break or he'll shift to the corner. We're not running offense for him. Bogey is another guy who comes off the bench. James Harden is creating offense for him. Brook Lopez has now become more than anything a stretch big. That's it. So James Harden has been not only the engine, he has basically been the only thing that this offense, he's been the only person in this offense that makes them viable. I definitely get with that part. The problem that I'm having is what I had to listen to earlier, and I bought into it. And I am going to say that I do think that this Clippers team is going to win some games. I don't think 500 is enough, though, to get into the playoffs. I mean, they're gonna have to do more. I think they're definitely going to have to do more. But the question that I do have for you guys is, James Harden, is this the gift and the curse? What I mean when I say that is, James Harden is such a great distributor and playmaker. So I'm not worried about him getting me involved in the offense, because he's going to get me involved in the offense. He's not one of those guys that's not going to not pass the basketball. He's going to get me involved in the offense. But he's so dynamic as a bucket getter that I find myself, if I'm on the floor, whether it's Collins or Chris Dunn or any of those guys, find myself watching. Is that a detriment to their offense, or is that just because James Harden is just so good?
Play call?
It's not a detriment. I know that. It's single-handedly keeping them afloat.
But they're not afloat.
If you have,
they're sinking.
No.
That's because he can't play 14 minutes a game.
By the way, Marsh,
if they had players who were good and competent, James Harden wouldn't. He didn't do this last year. When Kawhi came back, James Harden was able to facilitate an offense that had the ball moving. Zoo was involved, Kawhi was involved, guys were involved. The issue is this year, no one could do anything with the ball in their hands unless James Harden has created a wide open opportunity for them. The team stinks. And I didn't expect them to stink. So I'm putting it out there. And I'm only saying it's been 14, 13 games. So they can figure it out. I'm not saying their season is over. Through 13 games, they have just stunk. James Harden is the only reason they are even having a chance to win some games. Like last night, who did they play the game before? And they won.
Boston Pelicans? No, not the Pelicans.
They beat someone.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'll find
Dallas. There we go.
Yeah.
James Harden is the only reason that even in these games. So I'm not gonna. I feel like we have a habit of like blaming the best player when a team isn't winning. When like the only reason these teams even have a chance of trying to win is because of James Harden. Like James Harden can't do nothing about a negative 21 net rating when he's off the court.
We don't
like,
do that. We
by the way,
only
Pin,
blame
just
the best player when we don't like the best player.
Just for your context, Pin.
And there's always someone who doesn't like
the Clippers offense this year.
So someone's gonna blame him.
There's a 119.6 when he's31 minutes. That's a lot of minutes for a 36-year-old.
Okay.
135 minutes without him. This is for Data Baller. It's a 93.3.
93.3.
Garbage.
They can't do anything. They literally can't. This is SGA. The offense is worse with them, I think, than the Oklahoma City Thunder offense without SGA. I think it's that big of a deal this year with them. They literally can't produce a bucket.
So are these worse than the non-Jokic minutes we heard about
this year? Yes, this year, yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
this is
not
like
this year. I'm talking last year.
This is like
worse than the non-Jokic minutes.
This is like Kobe 06 level on off offensive.
Okay. So okay, I have.
He also makes their defense slightly worse as well, though.
Yeah, well,
first of all,
he's not supposed to be guarding defense. Hey, the Zubac, stop somebody! Stop getting fried.
Real talk. I'm sorry that I can't carry the stove.
Chris Dunn, do your job. Wait, matter of fact, real talk just turned me up. You right. I hate real talk. You gonna stop that nonsense? They got Chris Dunn, DJJ, and Zubac. Y'all ninjas is there for two reasons: defend and score when I get you the ball. I'm giving you the ball. Score. I leave the court. I need you to score. You won't score.
I was just giving the other side of the data.
All I'm asking you to do is when I go to defense, can I at least take a break for 2 seconds and not to do everything? But you telling me the defense is worse with me. I'm doing everything. So I go on the other end, real talk.
I'm not blaming him.
No,
I was just
hush.
giving the other side of
real
the
talk.
data.
He goes to dribble. I got to drive, pass, create, play, make, and then I go on the other end. I'm supposed to also be the stopper. Damn.
I didn't say you had to be the stopper. I just said they a little worse on defense when you're on the court.
Chill. Is that crazy? I got to do it all.
You know who they should trade for? You know who they should trade for? Norman Powell. He'd be great. They should look at Norman Powell.
Oh, wait.
What's up? What's up, Phil? What's up, Phil?
It's almost like they employed him a few months ago.
If I bring in somebody else's defense when he's on the floor, real talk, be like, don't talk about it.
He was.
My bad.
He was 100% on the Clippers.
I forgot. I fell asleep. Like I remember him on the Raptors. He was great. I don't know why the hell that stupid ass team traded him, but they did trade him to the Portland Trailblazers for Gary Trent Jr. I don't know why. Yo, here's a word of advice for the Miami Heat: don't trade Norman Powell. No one has ever benefited from trading Norman Powell ever. Don't do it. Don't do it. You think you have a nice shiny new toy, Gary Trent Jr., Bradley Beal. You don't. They suck. They're trash. Norman Powell. That's your answer. Norman Powell. Right
They made money. They made space for the money. Also, to be fair, like they couldn't be in the apron. Like
Bradley Beal was cheaper.
Yeah, just that
I don't
simple.
care.
That's the CB. But that's the
He's
CBA.
The reason
that's where
he's cheaper.
But the Boston Celtics just did the same thing, Chill. They just got rid of all their players because the money doesn't make sense. You can't do it. Like, this is the downfall of the CBA. The CBA is ruining teams like the Clippers and the Celtics and Denver and maybe and it will be at some point in time. It will be the Thunder. They're going to strip you as long as it's stupid.
Go plant some more trees. My point is, you got the richest owner in the league. He probably got more money than all the other owners combined, or something close to that. So okay, pay a little bit of money. Shit, this is your vision. You put like $1 billion into it, though.
But it's not just about the money. Remember, 10. It's about if you need to make improvements because of injuries, you can't.
Yes, I understand
salaries.
that, but you all in on this at this point. And I mean, if you get in this version of James Harden, you got an all defensive center who's not really looking like an all defensive center right now in Zubac. You got veterans across the board. Why get cheap now on Norman Powell?
Remember, it's not just about the money. If they have injuries to the roster or if they want to trade players, they literally cannot do that in the second apron. Literally, like you physically cannot improve your roster or make adjustments in the second apron. So as much of it is about not even just the money, you don't have roster flexibility in the CBA, brother.
How much roster flexibility they got right now?
I mean, they got more than what they would have if they had Norman Powell. The team's just underperforming, to be fair. Go ahead, Chill.
My question, real talk, and Pitt, you can answer this too. When this crew was put together, if you look at this roster, what was the plan?
I mean, the plan was to be a really good, deep team that could go like 10 players deep, have some scoring options coming off the bench, like a Bradley Beal. Chris Paul was supposed to man the second unit at the PG position. Brook Lopez was supposed to still give you some rim protection and some spacing off the bench as well. Zubac, you would think he would improve or at least stay consistent and be that all defensive level player and a good play finisher and pick and roll for James Harden. You thought you had Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, he's one of the better two-way wings in the league. DJJ and Chris Dunn are your point of attack guys, right? You can put them on better perimeter players. Like the thought process for the team to me made sense. It was just, could these old players sustain and kind of get to the level they were at last year?
Real talk. That's the problem, because like the reference that you just made, could these players?
Old players, yeah, they're old players.
What the hell? These old guys. Like in theory, it sounds like a great idea with Brook Lopez, right? Not just with Brook Lopez, but with Chris Paul and Bradley Beal. It sounded like a great idea in theory, taking out the fact that these dudes are ancient and full of injury. On top of that, my star player, who, for all intents and purposes, we're all waiting for him to come back and be something like what he used to be. He's broken down too. So, I'm just trying to pay.
But the problem, the
plan was here and how it was supposed to be implemented.
The problem I also outlined the last time we talked about the Clippers, it's the 4 or 5 players that can't include Norman Powell. That would be the 5th. But the 4 players that they had last year of Zubac, Harden, Chris Dunn, BJJ, those 4 players in a lineup led to very positive results. Those 4 players usually had a very good net rating. They were a very good defensive unit. It's the fact that what Swiper outlined earlier, they're not playing defense. Like, even with their defensive personnel, they're not playing defense. And if you look at the data baller lineups, they're either great defensively and trash on offense in a lot of these lineups, or they're great on offense and absolute garbage on defense. So, they have to find a two-way balance. They haven't found it because it swings both ways.
Can I just say, by the way, chill. You know, we always want to give flowers to people while they're living, right? These are our people. You know, we want to show love to our people when they're here. Penn, can you agree with me? Real talk, using numbers is like, wow. I mean, this has been the last couple of months from you, Real Talk. You referencing Data Baller and PFP.
Real Talk always been a number.
No.
Exactly. He always been spreadsheet.
No. Not like this. Not like this. Real Talk. This is insider source and information. Real Talk here. I'm live from the LA Lakers arena. We have a blowout here and everything. If you look at the net rating for the Los Angeles Lakers with Luka Doncic and Marcus Smart on the floor, they're a plus 21. Now, let me throw it back to you, Kirk, because we got a real barn burner. That's Real Talk now. Real Talk is really like got in his bag, man. Shout out to my dude.
I think Real Talk is just using all the information available to him like a smart person should.
But that's what I think. Don't use it, though. A lot of people are anti-data baller, anti-PFP and all that.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that means that Real Talk is some spreadsheet person now. I think he's watching the game and he's just using more information, which is what we hope that everyone would do. And I think categorizing him as some sort of caricature is not necessarily fair to our dear brother Real Talk.
I do think there needs to be acknowledged. People up here do not do that. Indeed, do not.
What's weirder to you, Swipe? Me siding up with Real Talk against you, your condescending sort of a little introduction.
No. Ben, literally, you bring up numbers. And people say, I don't care what the numbers say. I got my eyes all the time. There's
only one person who says that.
I mean, I'm still going to have statements like that, by the way. But, yeah.
I think lineup data is a bit more emblematic.
Oh, my God.
Box plus minus. But
thank you.
Different
numbers.
So now is that a shot at Penn using the BPM?
Well, Penn uses BPM a lot, but he's not the only person. But I also think lineup data after 13 games is a bit.
I mean, honestly,
but I still understand. Like, we can see James Harden on the floor. Clippers, okay. James Harden off the floor. Clippers, stinky. So,
I think all of the data available to you should be used with discretion. The discretion part is very important. Okay. Pardon?
I think you should understand all the data you go to, not just use it because it's available to you.
I think you need to vet your own biases, right? Like you need to vet your own biases. So like if you want something to be desperately true and you basically go to a string of data and you just start looking for data that proves your point. Like if you think, hey, James Harden's a really bad defender. Okay. Let me go find lineup data that proves that he's a bad defender.
What I did.
No. I don't think that's what.
I'm talking about Swiper. Put him on the screen.
Yeah, Swiper's just a troll. So he's embodying L host energy right now.
So when I put up the Jaylen Johnson had a better BPM than Scottie Barnes this year last week.
See what I'm talking about? This kind of shit right here.
No, that's what happened.
Well, it's true, and shout outs to Jaylen Johnson, and that's awesome. Jaylen Johnson's a really good player. I don't know why Jaylen and Scottie and Lauri took so much disrespect in that conversation. Do you know I am still being asked about some of the ridiculous things that were said on that show about those players?
It was asked of me to have the conversation. I then provided the audience with it, and then I'm saying in this instance is that the BPM is on the side of Jaylen Johnson, but
that's actually that's not what happened, and you're not going to gaslight anybody into believing that's what happened. What happened?
What exactly did happen, Penn? Because you sound like you know what happened. So what exactly did happen, Penn?
Well, there was a conversation about Scottie Barnes and Jaylen Johnson and Lauri Markkanen for some reason, and we were having some sort of start bench cut thing, and then Swiper said, "Hey, does it matter to you guys that the biggest Scottie Barnes glazer is a big BPM guy?" Jaylen Johnson, BPM higher than Scottie Barnes. I mean, context matters, man. It's like 0.1 higher. It is whatever. I don't care.
It's basically the same thing, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's a very similar season that they're having, but they're doing it in completely different ways. I think one of them is a much better defender. I don't want to relitigate that shit. That episode got on my nerves big time. But yeah, I'm just saying.
I
like,
see you got another little back and forth with another, but it's fine though.
I mean, shit. I mean, here's the thing. If you want to be a comedian, why should it bother you that I enjoy your comedy, or I didn't enjoy your comedy, or that I call your analysis comedy? It shouldn't bother you at all. Personally, if you try to be a comedian, me laughing at your basketball takes shouldn't bother you. Apparently, it bothers you. So you're trying to be serious. Jerry and Grant. Shout out to Jerry and Grant. Anyways, my point is, you can't have the bias, or if you do have a bias, you have to acknowledge the bias. So it's just like, I don't know. It's like Jokic, right? It's like the Jokic stuff, right? Like a lot of the analytics will point to him being a good defender. If you can't understand why those analytics point to him being a good defender, then you're just going to hate all analytics. And that to me is just biased, because you already think he's a terrible defender. So you can't listen to anything that says he's not a terrible defender. So that's kind of comes down to that.
Yeah, good discussion. I mean, I think that's good context. I do think, though, the Clippers, to your point, real talk, when they do have Zubac, Harden, Dunn, and DJJ on the floor, they're plus 12. So maybe they should just run that lineup 48 minutes a game like Wilt Chamberlain used to when he got this 50 and 25 season in 1962.
What happens?
Because I don't know how else they survive outside of that, unfortunately.
Also, it's not biased, Penn. If you look at a defensive stat that has Jokic good and you believe he's not a good defender, and so you discount it. The problem is, if that same stat is telling you that he's a better defender than Victor Wembanyama, yeah, I'm going to completely disregard that stat, bro.
Or maybe you just don't know what to look for on defense.
But it's not.
Or maybe I do
as well. Yeah.
Or maybe I do know what to look for on defense. I just don't understand the way that stat is implemented in this company.
Like it's sort of counterintuitive, right? You'll have a player that goes 8 for 13, right? It'll have 12 rebounds, 24 points, and he'll have like a negative 1.2 BPM,
right?
Because he had a lot of turnovers, or because he didn't impact the game positively on offense. He sucked up too many possessions, held on to the ball too long. Overall, resulted in negative offense for his team, but he did well. But if you look at the box score, you'd be like, oh, that guy's great. And then you'll have a guy who comes out the bench. He's 1 for 6, right? But he took care of the ball, scored 5 points. 6 rebounds,
1 foul.
5.6 rebounds, very uneventful, tour date type of box score. Yep. And he'd be plus 6.2. Well, he ain't going to be plus 8, but he'll be plus 6.2 or plus 5.2 because he only played 15 minutes. And that's going to be the guy you overlook. I think what we're trying to measure here, and I don't really care how you do it, EPM, BPM, do it however you want, lineup data. I don't really care. The question I'm trying to get to is, when you on the court, am I better team offensively and defensively? I don't really care how we're better defensively with you on the court. If we're better defensively with you on the court because you better at communicating than everybody else, cool. If we're better on defense because you just better rebounder at closing out possessions, cool. We just talked about how great the offense is for the Houston Rockets because they get so many offensive rebounds. The inverse must be true as well. Our defense must be good because we have a great defensive rebounder and possibly one of the best defensive rebounders in the league, right? But it's not just how many defensive rebounds you got. Shout out to Russell Westbrook. It's how many defensive rebounds your team gets when you're on the court that matters to me. So if I consistently have to send 2 guys to deal with you on the glass, that means my teammates are wide open. Shout outs to Steven Adams, who got Russell Westbrook a lot of those defensive rebounds. So this is my point. The box score does not measure it. So when someone says this guy's a poor rebounder because he gets 6 rebounds a game and this guy's a great rebounder because he gets 10, I don't buy that. Personally, it sounds true, but it might not be true. I got to actually look at it.
Like this prime example is this kid, Max Christie. Max Christie played 28 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He went 4 for 7 from the floor, 3 for 6 at the long ball line, 3 for 4 at the free throw line. He had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover. He was a -2. That sounds like somebody that was really good.
But that's not a box plus minus. That's a minus. That's a plus minus. Correct?
And see, that's where and again,
that's totally different.
And see, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the analytics and the stats, me understanding what I'm reading. right? It's a difference between me reading something and me understanding what I'm reading. So I understand that when I'm on the floor with, I don't know, I'm on the floor with Derek Lively.
He had a 5.4 box plus minus.
Yes. So does that pass your sniff test better? Okay, chill. I'm assuming you watched that Dallas game, correct?
I did watch that Dallas game. Yes, I did.
Cooper Flagg had a 4.2 box plus minus. Does that pass your sniff test?
And I actually watched the game. I mean, he did look good.
Daniel Gafford at a 7.1. Does that pass your sniff test?
Because he got busy too. Yes, he was.
Derek Lively was a negative 14.8. Does that pass your sniff test?
Now that part I didn't. Is it because he didn't play that long? Because I think Derek White. I mean,
that has nothing to do with it.
He only played like 10 minutes.
Was he good when he
played? It's probably because he fouled out in 12 minutes.
He had 6 fouls. He had
good
2 turnovers.
He fouled out in 6 minutes. 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
He was awful. Yeah,
he was on his Robert Parrish timing.
Yeah, he was awful.
Okay, so this is the point. It's not a perfect stat. There are no perfect stats though. I mean, the same people who say defensive box plus minus is a terrible stat. Do those people ever talk about how blocks per game is a very misleading stat? Shout outs to Hassan Whiteside. Do they ever talk about how steals per game is a misleading stat? Shout outs to Allen Iverson. Like the point here is there is no perfect stat. There are your eyes, hopefully. There are your eyes, and you can see it. And then you can go and confirm what you saw and then shit test it. And this is how science has to be done. You have a hypothesis, you believe something to be true, and then you put it through the sniff test. You put it through rigorous sniff test. And yes, if you believe that a player is terrible defensively, and every metric tells you they are awesome defensively, maybe this is something about you and what you value defensively. A lot of people are very, very strung up on-ball defense. They're extremely biased towards what you do when your guy gets the ball. So shot blocking, steals, all that stuff. They're very unaware of off-ball defense, i.e. how good you are at mapping out closeouts, how good you are at protecting the rim or deterring the rim, right? How good you are at sitting in the gaps. Very often, a drive down the middle for an open dunk can be deterred by a player simply closing the gap who isn't the on-ball defender when the on-ball defender gets beat. Sometimes a wide open layup can be taken away because a guy simply gets beat and chases the play and is able to contest from the rear. The players who do this stuff don't get any benefit for it. They still got blown by just like the other guy, but unlike the other guy, they recovered, right? They may just communicate it better. They may communicate screens better. There are so many subtle things that a player can do defensively to help his team, like hundreds of things. It's not just steals and blocks. It's not just defensive rebounds. It's not just.
It's a lot of stuff that goes into the. That's fair. That is fair. There's a lot of stuff that goes into. That. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into defending that doesn't show up on the box score. Right. I get that part. It's just excuse me. It's just the idea that
plus minus, but you know.
But here's the difference, though, Mars. That's what I mean when I mean that right there. What you just said, defensive box plus minus. That's what doesn't go on the stat sheet. Like me closing out or not closing out. Like for example, I'm playing on the wing, and let's see, Derek White drives down the gut. I step in front of Derek White as the help defender, and Derek White kicks the ball out, but I'm able to get my hand on it and disrupt that shot. They get a shot clock violation. That doesn't go on the box score, but I contributed to that defensive stop. So does that mean that I helped, or does that increase my defensive box plus minus? Or and it's not me taking a charge.
I'm sure this has been said on this channel many times, but I'll reiterate it for everybody involved. Defensive box plus minus is simply box plus minus minus offensive box plus minus. That's all it is. And the only stat that really matters in the plus minus, stats, because again, defense, we're so far away from being able to understand defense properly. Unless you use tracking data in a very sophisticated sense, there are certain teams that are really good at, how close you are to your nearest defender, where you were supposed to be versus where you are. But this stuff is not like publicly available unless you have like $20,000 to $50,000 a month to invest in this type of stuff. And I know a couple of people who have at least gleaned this type of stuff and is sophisticated beyond measure, right? Where were you supposed to be based on our defensive coverage? Where were you? How quickly you move on defense? How quickly you react? How quickly you recover? This is all of defense. What
was the result of that possession?
What was the result of that possession? How often do your closeouts result in a player missing a shot? How much of that is luck? There's so much to be like gleaned and developed with the defensive analytics. The offensive analytics are much closer to perfected. They're not perfect, but they're closer to perfected. So all defensive boxes minus is not evidence that Jokic is such a great defender. It's probably evidence that he's better offensively than even the offensive plus minus gives him. That's what it really means, in my opinion. That's what it means. His overall impact is so great offensively that the offensive boxes minus is not quite measuring it, and some of his offensive impact is being funneled over to his defense.
That would happen when they count assists as defense, yes.
Sure. We're going to end the segment here because I know people want to get back to some of these other games.
It's a stupid stat. It's a stupid stat.
Yeah, it was they made the alteration because they found that the statistically centers that were better passers ended up being better defenders. But there's like a actual number that went into it.
Not true.
Holy
shit.
They looked at Joakim Noah and Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol.
Well, technically, if you can pass.
Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, so now you end up with Sabonis and Jokic having
they're not the same player, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm saying Sabonis averaged a lot of assists, and you see his
next super chat.
Very high.
Cheese $15, $20 super chat. What Harden has been doing this year needs to be talked about. I don't know why this man never gets his flowers. Because people always say, well, what about the playoffs, even though it's regular season? And because I give him praise for what he's doing for the offense, and Real Talk said, look at the defense. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a struggle. No, Real Talk, I'm kidding. It was good context. But, yeah, I think Harden deserves more credit. 26-9 on that efficiency it's like a 65 true shooting to start the year off, y'all. Like,
and by the way, Penn,
how many 26-9 players do you give credit for who are on 4-9 teams? I just want to know. How many other players would you extend
that
this
efficient?
Grace?
That are that efficient with their
I think that's the fairest point. Also, I just want to mention just before we get off this, this is James Harden in terms of true shooting percentage. This is his most efficient season since OKC.
And who is
relative to the league?
Likely to say it's not sustainable, but
yeah.
One could hope.
Well,
it's definitely coming down. Yeah,
and he's not
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and he's doing it on
the free throw shooting,
and
it's the free throw shooting, and it's the 3-pointers. He's shooting 39% on 9 attempts a game. So your numbers are going to be really good.
He's one of the elite shooters in the NBA. But yeah, if a player's playing as well as James Harden is on the Clippers on a team that also stinks, I think they should also get credit for how well they're playing. I don't think credit should just be saved for people on good teams.
They've only beat bad teams, and they've lost to
they're one of the bad teams. I don't know what to tell you.
By the way,
they weren't supposed to be. So
that's cool, and that's not because of James Harden.
But they're not bad because of James Harden. No.
In fact,
he just happens to be on the bad team.
He's the reason why they are winning games. It's because of him. He's the reason why they are in games.
The reason they even had a chance against Boston yesterday was because of James Harden. But
the Celtics should have smoked them dudes. I think they was up by 24 at one point. They had them dudes in the hole. Yes, they should have smoked them dudes yesterday. But the fact that James Harden got cooking the way James Harden got cooking and opened up that offense even more, started cracking the long ball, started getting to the rim, got to the stripe where he's money. Now all of a sudden the momentum swung. Now, Swiper, I think that you can attest to this, that in the NBA, the game is a game of runs. Like who can sustain this run longer, and who can withstand the other team's run, as opposed to we're just going to go back and forth, right? So when I watch the Clippers, and I want to say in the third, either the third quarter or going into the fourth, they went on a 23-7 run. All right, well, how can we sustain this? How can we thwart this if we're the Boston Celtics? Because it's obvious that what we're doing right now isn't working. So Cade can't finish around the rim whenever Jaylen Brown drops him the ball, but then he does finish. Not only does he do that, Derek White knocks down an open shot, but then he doesn't. Okay, how can we get more consistent while trying to slow down James Harden? How the hell can we do that? It looked like they got into some action with Jaylen Brown going to his strong hand, which is where he's the most effective, going to his strong hand, operating with Cade on his dribble handoff, and Cade diving to the rim, and him getting the switch and getting the one-on-one at the elbow where he snatches back and he gets into that mid post and he knocks down either the mid post or the mid range. He knocks down that shot, and now we're able to put together a couple of stops and we can stop the bleeding, as opposed to James Harden just continuously pouring it on us and we can't get anything going offensively.
The next super chat, you all, I think is going to lead into a very great discussion. And in particular, I think, Chill, you're going to love this question that we were asked here. Just a simple $5 super chat that changed the world. Messi 10i or 10i. $5 super chat. Is this the hardest era to win an MVP in? You have to be nearly perfect to win it nowadays. Luka averaged 34.99 and finished third. Luka currently, I think, on NBA.com might be fourth, and he's having a similar season in terms of raw numbers. Is this the hardest era that that players have tried to win an MVP in?
I don't think so. We had a guy that averaged 35 in 06. He was third or fourth in MVP voting. I just think you just have to have all things going right for you when the field is competitive. You have to have the team wins. You have to have the narrative going your way. Is there a repeat winner to where now they don't want to give that person a second or third in a row? Like that has existed before. I think it's one of the more competitive times, absolutely. Sure. But like, yeah, I don't think it's the hardest. I think it's hard winning MVP in general. You know what I'm saying? You have to be the best player on a really good team. Other players maybe having a down season or something like that. Like, so winning a competitive award, I think, that just comes with the territory. It's the MVP.
I think a lot of times, and I've said this in the past, and I will stand on it, guys can be victims of their own success. So a guy like Joker, who last season averaged, was it a 30-point triple-double or almost a 30-point?
Well, 29.6. So
almost.
Okay, so almost a 30-point triple-double. Yeah. So if Joker does anything like that, now that's the standard for Joker, which means that he's going to have to do something even more astronomical to even be considered the league MVP. So a guy who doesn't perform up to that level, but has performed to a level that surpassed what he's done in the past, he will get considered more than the guy that we just seen. Prime example would be Joker. Prime example would be KD or SGA, where a guy is averaging. SGA, I think this season of the 13 games that he's played, I think half of them he hasn't played in the fourth quarter.
I think it might be 8 games now.
So, yeah, something like that, where he hasn't played in the fourth quarter. He's still averaging 30 a game. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he leads all players in the league in points without free throws. Something to that effect. And don't quote me on that, because I want to make sure that I get that right. However, when guys are that good, they now become that now becomes the standard for them, which would explain why Giannis hasn't seen a league MVP in 5 years, because 30, 10, and 6, even though he's on a team that isn't very good and he's elevating this team in the regular season and making this team good. Well, you did that last year. Well, you did that the year before last. So now that's who you are. So unless you can do something like 35 a game and 14 rebounds and 7 assists on even better efficiency, and your team is better, then we won't consider you, because this is actually who you are now. So I think it's the gift and the curse, and a lot of these guys become victims of their own success. And I do use the word victim because it is somewhat of a victim mentality, because I don't think I'm going to see anybody do what Joker is doing, what SGA is doing, and they're going to get passed over. 20 years from now, we're going to look back on Joker averaging 30, 10, and 10 and not winning league MVP, and be like, damn, what was going on? Why couldn't he win the league MVP? Even though he won it 2 years before that, averaging 26 a game. And the year before that, averaging 26 and 13. Why couldn't he win the league MVP averaging 30, 10, and 10? What's the problem? So I think a lot of these guys are victims of their own success.
I also think that we got to stop judging things off of statistics. I was actually made a reaction video to that conversation y'all were talking about as far as the best top 5 like talents ever, and then Swiper makes the point of, well, have we ever seen anybody averaging 30 on this level of true shooting? And he mentions Jokic and Giannis and Shea, but we're in the most efficient offensive environment ever as well. So I don't think that's fair to compare like previous generations to that. Like, no, those generations aren't going to do. Those generations aren't going to do what this generation does, because this generation is in a better environment to produce those kind of outputs. So I think I don't know. And even like right now, what is the league average true shooting right now.
58 something.
It's like 58.3
right,
or
so,
something like that.
So even as far as like relative to the league, right? Shea's 63.5, 64 true shooting would look crazy a few years ago. That'd be like a +7 or whatever.
He's 65 right now. Just putting out
65 right now. So so he's still +7.
That don't even sound correct to say something.
Yeah, we're kind of maxing out in terms of efficiency. I don't know how much more efficient the league can get.
Yeah, we keep saying that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's tough with the way shot diets are. I don't know like how you optimize more than you currently are.
I think they're pushing each other, Mars. Like I think that's probably my biggest takeaway. I think 2020. I think Giannis, Harden, Braun. That was his own like battle for a few years. Steph, Durant, Braun, Kawhi. That was his own battle for a few years. And then it was Durant, LeBron. That was his own battle for about 2 years. And then before that, it was Derrick Rose, LeBron, Dwight, Kobe. That was his own battle. I think now, Jokic being what he's been, I think in the MVP conversation, and Shea wanting to win MVP, he knew that there was a level he had to get to. So he leveled up last year. It went crazy. I think Embiid knew what the field was. He leveled up like crazy, started scoring and defense at crazy levels. Giannis, very aware of the field, wants to be the best player in the world. He leveled up. And, somebody said this to me not too long ago, but just based on kind of how Jokic operates, he would never say it. But I do think this year especially, there's like an era to Jokic where he feels no matter who's on the floor or who I'm playing against, I am going to be the best player on the floor, regardless of what happens. And I think when you have people, SGA, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, who I didn't even mention, they're constantly fighting for position in the league. And I think they all want to be recognized as the best. I think that has pushed them to such a historic level. That's why I'm saying I think it's tough, real talk, because I don't know. I think the 0-3 thing, I don't think T-Mac 0-3 as good as he was. I still think Luka, Giannis, and all them are all better than him. I think Shaq 0-3, as we talked about. I still think a lot of these players are, if not all of them, were better than Shaq at that point. Duncan was obviously really good. Like Kobe was really good. But I think a lot of this is just like, dude, I mean, I don't know what
I don't think SGA and Luka are just better individual players this singular season than Tracy McGrady and 0-3?
I think they're having better seasons than Tracy did, in 0-2-3. And I brought up that Tracy.
But why? Like, what do they do better?
I think they're both. What do they do? They're both better scorers by like. Now Tracy that year was like.
I already disagree with you on that.
But so could I have this
more efficient or better scorer?
Well, SJ is for sure a better scorer than Tracy was at that point. I'm trying to remember the exact numbers because I actually had this.
T-Mac averaged 32. I know that on like plus.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Maybe.
And in the year, he did it twice, and he averaged 28 the other time, and he shot like 41.
Yeah, but they only won 21 games, so that means we can't credit him.
Where is my Tracy McGrady post? Because I think it was like so that year he was a plus 4.5 real talk. So I have it all written down. I put this tweet out in 2023. He was 32.1, which is insane. 6.5 rebounds, insane. 5.5 assists, insane. 1.7 steals, 48% from two, which 2003 is like great. 38.6% from three, which is again 2002-3, great. 79% from the free throw line. So that was a 56 at the time. The league average was about like 52.9, so it was plus 4.5. Now this is the like a nerd stat a little bit. He had a 30 PER that year, which is insane for a guard. Box plus minus was elite that year. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's just, but I think if you compare him to SGA right now, brother, I'm just like, he won't stop. Like, I think SGA just kind of is and won't stop at this point. Like, he will not, whatever that thing is that's ticking in SGA's brain. Like, now the schedule's been fluff. Like, they've had the easiest, like, schedule for the most part in the league. If you look, I'm giving credit to both of them. I think Jokic and SGA have benefited from that. Like, if you look at the dunks and three stuff, they have. But I think it doesn't matter. Like, he's still playing 3 quarters, and in 3 quarters, he's averaging 31 points a game. And, he's having, like, his splits are wild, and his shot diet is wild. It's not like it's easy a shot diet either. Like, these are defenders in my face, and you still can't stop me type of thing. So, and then Luka, now, to your point, the Luka scoring stuff is tricky. Because he's super efficient in certain areas, but he's not taking a lot of shots in those areas. And I remember I brought that up 2 weeks ago, and then I know you talked about this. Jason Timp talked about this. Shout out to Jason, who's great at his job as well. he definitely is like struggling in some ways, but I still think Luka, the playmaking and stuff, what he's doing as a singular offensive engine, real talk, I think he's been better than Tracy. But I think that speaks to how good Luka is, that he's still underperforming relative to maybe what he could be at this point in time, if that makes sense.
Really?
But then the Shaq thing, I think, is just not really much of a combo.
I don't know. I just feel like yes, Shay's averaging 30 and 3/4, which he definitely deserves all the credit in the world for that. Luka's putting up phenomenal statistics as well. I guess what I'm saying is, when I picture 03 Tracy McGrady in today's environment, to me, it wouldn't shock me if we get the same production from Tracy McGrady as we're seeing from Shai and Luka. And I know that's a bit of a mental leap that you have to take, but I mean, we've seen Tracy McGrady and his skill set. So what I'm saying is, if I put 02, 03 Tracy McGrady on that OKC team, I don't really think too much changes, in my opinion. And it's not because I don't think Shai's great. I just think that highly of 02, 03 Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
So I don't know. I'm gonna just stop trying to compare these players and who play in completely different eras, because I just think it'll probably end up discrediting either one of them, probably, to have the conversation.
But T-Mac, to your point, though, he was in Chill. You were older than us. I remember vividly, but I was like 12. You know what I mean? Like, you remember it more vividly than I do. So I am with you. Again, I said this on the Twitter the other day, and I know a lot of Lakers fans didn't like this. This was earlier this year. The conversation was T-Mac or Kobe. For like
that was a real conversation too.
Yeah,
and it was really going on.
Kobe fans don't remember it that way, but like that's literally what happened. I thought T-Mac was the best shooting guard in the league at that point in time. So I'm with you. Like I think T-Mac was phenomenal. But maybe I'm being a little protective of SGA, maybe too, because I'm like, I don't want to be unfair to him. But to your point, he was a superstar MVP caliber player that season, and he could have won MVP.
Well, quick side.
Joe, what does the name Jim Hines mean to you?
Jim Hines.
I'm about to get some context, man.
I feel like it should mean something, but I don't know.
The 1968 Olympics, right? Where when it was unthought of, it was unthinkable that somebody could run 100 meters in 10 seconds. And suddenly we have runners who are breaking that barrier with 9.95.
Sure.
Next thing you know, everybody's breaking it. Everybody's breaking 9.95 now. So this is the thing that I think what Swiper was saying was
everybody's not though, Penn. See, that's the thing.
Well, not me and you, no, but
and not everybody in, even not everybody in the because I think I know where you're going with this. Not everybody in the league is doing what SGA is doing. Not everybody.
And by the way, all time, Chill, to Penn's point, all time now. I'm looking at the list. This is stupid, bro. There have been 194 people, it looks like, and a lot of these are tied. So this might be like 200. There's around 200 people now in world history that have been timed for a 9.99 or faster at this point.
Right. And it was unthinkable at the time that someone could break 10. I mean, again, and is that just simply training got better? Athletes got bigger. Yes. Human evolution. Is that part of it? Yes, that's part of it. Yes. But I think what someone like Malcolm Gladwell would say in this situation is that the example of somebody breaking 10 sets a new standard for what you're trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it just helps. Like there's a book called Outliers, right, where it talks about pockets of outliers. Where is it crazy that Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac knew each other when they were growing up? Is that insane? Did part of one knowing the other influence the growth of the other? How many times have we seen 3, 4, dominant future celebrities, actors, etc.? And we're like, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck knew each other since they were how old? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the greatness influences greatness, human interactions, societies, etc. Sure. These guys watch each other every single night. If I'm a big in the league, if I'm Joel Embiid, I am watching Jokic, and frankly, right now, if I'm Anthony Edwards, I am watching Shai. This is normal. Just like Michael watched Magic, just like Kobe watched Michael. This builds on builds on builds on builds, right?
And here's why. Here's why I have to disagree with that. The reason why I have to disagree with that is because One more time, swipe it with that number in human history.
200 people, around 200 people are running 9.9 hour faster.
200 people, like,
Men,
and that's when they
In
were
1967, it
What
was
I'm saying,
zero.
right. At the point that I'm making with this is, I still, even if I'm watching Joker, even if I'm a competitor and I'm watching SGA, if I'm watching Anthony Edwards, I still have to be physically able to do that stuff, and I'm not. Which would explain why we don't have, instead of 5 guys averaging 30, 15 guys averaging 30, which would explain why we don't have 7 guys in the league averaging 12 rebounds instead of 14 guys averaging 12 rebounds, stuff like that. Because I still have to be physically able to do what he does. I still have to be physically able to do what Joker does. I don't see the game like Joker sees the game. I'm not the athlete that Anthony Edwards is. I don't have the craft that SGA has. I might have some things, but physically, I don't have all of that stuff. So what I'm doing now is I'm making it look like, because SGA does it, because Anthony Edwards is doing it, because we have a bunch of great scorers in the game, now it's almost like it's getting filtered. Like, almost everybody can do this. No, this is why we talk about these guys the way we do.
Chill. Some of how we play the game right now, though, does facilitate to bigger volume numbers being created by even players that you wouldn't even suspect or agree that is that good. So, for example, I'll give you, well, let me hit this other point that Penn touched on real quick too.
Sure.
Penn is absolutely right. This is also why, like, Swiper would attest to this as well. Things like representation is big, and it's actually a thing, because once you see it be done, now you can believe it can be done. Right? This is
saying that like athletics is also a big DEI thing.
What I'm saying okay, whatever. In general, like Barack being the president actually opened the possibility of, like, oh, a black man can be like. That used to be a running joke.
What happened to black test scores when Barack became president?
Yeah, Chill would know. In this used to be a running joke, like in the community, like, but I'll do that when one of us become president, like, because we just thought that wasn't even like going to be a thing for real.
Right.
But to the point of Chill, I'll say this: Austin Reaves, I believe, is a really good player. I do believe is a really good player. However, Austin Reaves now, when he is solo doloing a team or the second option, is producing production on the lines of your favorite guard, Donovan Mitchell. Right? So we can't just be like, oh, well, I don't know. Everybody can't average 30. Do you think Austin Reaves is as good as Donovan Mitchell? I don't.
I do not think that.
But he's producing on the same level as far as his output and efficiency as Donovan Mitchell. So there is something to be said that all of these stats and what we're watching right now does need to be contextualized in a sense. And that also is what makes the Tracy McGrady and Kobe and all of them playing in this era argument, is because if we're seeing a player to the level of Austin Reaves average 28 on 64, 65 plus true shooting in this offensive environment, it is not a crazy leap or a conclusion to come to if we also think if you put T-Mac or Kobe in this environment that they could do what SGA's doing. Respectfully, I think that is a more than fair and right conclusion to come to, be it that we're watching the league where Austin Reaves is averaging 30 on 64 true shooting or whatever he's doing right now. So again, I understand what they're doing is fantastic. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. They are great players, historic players, but we do have to contextualize a little bit these volume numbers that are going on right now. That's all.
Well, the best example of this, by the way, Chill, is Kevin Durant going from OKC to Golden State. So if I filter out for his first 2 seasons, because they shouldn't count, he was very young in OKC. Since he became an all-star, Kevin Durant's 2-point percentage in OKC was 53.3%, which is good, very good, in fact. The first year in Golden State, it was 60.8. Did he just level up that much as a player? Or does it matter so much that you're playing with the two greatest shooters of all time? Now,
I was
I'm not
getting the
saying that
same-
everybody
he was
got
getting the
Steph
same
and Clay
shots.
now. I'm not saying you got Steph and Clay now, but the
Sure.
gap between Steph and Clay is the point. Steph and Clay, relative to the mean average shooting guard, point guard combo in terms of the space they can provide for an alpha scorer like Kevin Durant, is the reason that you have 60.8% from two. That's because the paint is way more wide open when you're playing with shooters like that. So if you consider that, what is the gap between what Shea is playing with today in terms of talent and what 03 McGrady played with in terms of talent, what 06 Kobe played with in terms of talent? It's mega large. It's mega large.
Yes,
I would argue today, last year, AJ Mitchell didn't play a minute. Well, not a minute. He barely played. He was not in the rotation for the OKC Thunder.
Sure.
I could make an argument, and a pretty coherent one, that if we could import him into 03, he might be McGrady's best teammate.
I don't hate that.
Like, is he that much worse than Mike Miller? Like, you know what I mean? So I think,
but the game might be a little bit different in terms of what his game is today and what the game is back then. A lot less movement, a lot less ball movement, a lot of guys clogged in. But I mean, to Real Talk's point, yes, we did look at Barack Obama as the president of the United States, but we forget, very much like SGA, very much like Joker, very much like Giannis, very much like the best players in the game. First and foremost, President Barack Obama is ridiculously smart. Not all of us are like that. He went to Harvard, right? So let's be clear about that. It's not like he went to a state university like I did and got okay grades. No, he went to Harvard,
ITT Tech, and all that. You're saying?
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. Like, and I think.
Sure. What's the fastest growing demographic of millionaires in America?
Black people.
Right. A lot of smart black people in America. Tons.
100%.
A lot of them
100%.
going to Ivy League schools like Yale, Harvard, MIT. Tons. So, you know, personally, I wasn't there to experience it because I was in Canada at the time. But when I saw Barack Obama become president, I realized some people have some very unfavorable views towards him. And I'm not trying to turn this into a political thing, but in terms of what Real Talk said, or I don't know if it was Real Talk or Swiper who said it, where it was like you saw it happen and suddenly it changed the perspective of what can happen. The representation thing is very real. When you see yourself, your story represented on screen, a lot of people call it a DI thing, or they say it's like pandering to the lowest common denominator. It is not. If you are autistic and you see autistic characters on screen, that matters. If you are LGBTQ and you see LGBTQ characters on screen, honestly, if you saw LGBTQ characters on screen in 1960, it was always as the butt of the joke, right? When you saw African Americans on screen in 1950, it was as what? Side characters, male men, you know, things like that. Now you see Michael B. Jordan and he's king shit. It's the same thing as women. Very often, women, right? There's a test in cinema. Do two women ever speak about anything other than a man? Right? I don't remember what it's called, but it's like there's a specific test that it is like every script has to go through, whether that happens. Now we see women who have agency that are not simply sitting there saying, "Save me, save me, save me." Because when a little girl opens up a television and all she sees is women who look like her saying, "Save me, save me, save me," and specifically to the color argument here of if she opens up her television and every black woman she sees is just at a nail salon and is never the main character, then she starts to see herself as not the main character. So I think that is a very important thing in terms of seeing something happen.
I could get
right.
With that.
European players were always soft. They were always side characters in the NBA. Today, European players are the best players in the NBA. Jokic, international players are the best players in the NBA. The Africa thing, right? Like Ochai Agbaji the other day was asked who his GOAT was. He said Hakeem Olajuwon. You know why? Because his family's from Nigeria, and he said if Hakeem did not play basketball,
he's Nigerian?
Yes, he is.
We're both Nigerian. That's dope. I didn't know that.
Dope. So Ochai Agbaji said Hakeem is my GOAT because if Hakeem doesn't play basketball never enters my family because my father never picks up a basketball. It matters so much.
That part I won't argue, no question. And Real Talk, real quick side note: the day that President Obama got elected, I was working for JetBlue that day. I said I ain't lifting no bags today. You know why? We got a black president. Get your own damn luggage.
I ran through Turner Hall with my black teammates on my football team.
I did say
my president
I was
black,
like, I ain't
my
lifting
Lambo
no bags
blue.
today. Get your own luggage.
And they called the police on us.
We got a black president. I ain't lifting no bags today. How about that? Send me home.
I actually remember my mom called me in the room and she was crying and she looked at me and was like, "You can really be whatever you want to be."
I ain't lifting no bags.
Yeah, you know what? Shout out, Real Talk. Yeah, you can be whatever you want to be, and you decided to be a troll. So next super chat. As we move on through this conversation, I think Penn brought some. You dropped some knowledge on the people, man. Ron is not here to take this, but Cowboy Bob said $10 super chat. So Ron interrupted Chill with Chill. Let me put Chill on the magnifying screen. And his Seahawks lose. Wow. No call, no shows. 49ers won with a weaker defense. I see Miami winning the game. And Rebs, what's that? I don't know. Rebs?
Rebounds.
Rebounds. But rebounds and they rebound maybe, Miami, because they won 2 straight now. Better injuries. Happened now rather than after January. Go, Knicks, go. Chill. Your 49ers did win.
We did win yesterday.
Your Broncos won too.
Handled Arizona 100%. I think we second. I think we tied for second in the division. So I'm on record saying it, and I'll stand on it. If we had our edge rusher and our middle linebacker, we'd be the best team in football. I'm sure of.
Yeah, man. You brought up Obama and all these wrong information. People are bringing up wrong information, bad information in Super Chat. I'm ignoring it.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have brought. I was just trying to make
I'll go right to it. I'll be like, well, actually, but this is whatever. Yeah. But
the point that I was making with Real Talk, that I was making with Real Talk is when you're talking about representation, it 100% matters.
Yep.
No doubt about that. Like seeing somebody that looks like me, seeing somebody that's from wherever I'm from, I could do that too.
Yep.
100%. But I still have to be physically able to.
Yeah, you still have to be able to do it.
If we being honest, Real Talk, Jordan tricked me. 100% Jordan tricked me. With the Gatorade and the sneakers. You could be like Mike. No, you can't. Nope, I ain't never gonna be that good.
I see a couple Mikes in the league right now.
So you're saying it was his fault?
I'm never gonna be that good.
If Shaden Sharp got drafted in 1984, you telling me he wouldn't be an All-NBA player?
No, he wouldn't be.
They wouldn't call him Skywalker?
They might
put him on the team with Clyde Drexler. I promise they say he's the best dunker on the team. Promise that.
That, yes, but he would not be All-NBA. Let's not be disrespectful here to the 80s.
Next super chat. Animatica Studios 2884. Every time I see the spin, I think of you because you had to correct me when I was doing it the first time. $5 super chat. Real Talk said that if anyone had Kawhi's roster, they have expectations. The Clippers are 13 seed in the West. Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard.
In fact, Real
Talk
eloquently laid it out to us. If James was on this roster, he could be 55. They would expect a championship out of him if he had this roster.
And isn't that stupid?
Yeah, the Kawhi Leonard disrespect is getting crazy.
We're just meant to be stupid about Kawhi because we're stupid.
It's not because prior to the start of the season, we did think this team would be good, including yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not when that statement was made, it was made under the assumption that the Clippers were good. Now that we know that they're ass, it's different now. It's different context around that statement. But at the time, when we thought they were good, you're like, nah, they would have some expectations with this team.
Wouldn't you say that's more about the fact that they're the off-court stuff and has kind of has it affected them more than we gave it credit?
No. Just to be fair, they were 3-3 with Kawhi, and he played horribly in the first 2 games. So they were 2-2 in the games that he played well. And after those 6 games, if nothing else, this should be evidence that Kawhi is amazing because they've won 1 game since he went down. Okay, so they are not a bad team with Kawhi. They are a bad team without Kawhi. Just to put that out there. I heard Sam Mitchell said the other day that Scottie Barnes is going to be better than Kawhi, and that the only difference is 3-point shooting. And I was like, as the biggest Scottie Barnes fan in the world, please stop the Kawhi disrespect. This is so stupid.
Relax, my man.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't know how we can talk about
Kawhi
when Kawhi hasn't played. I don't know what there is to talk about.
All right, I want to do a little fast breakdown from this weekend since we haven't seen each other. I did see Real Talk over the weekend for a brief time on playback, but we haven't got a chance to really hang out as a unit. There were some good games from Friday to now that I think are worth talking about. Obviously, you had the Houston-Portland game. That was really good. Houston put up 140 points on that Friday game. Just really like a truly excellent performance. Over the weekend, I wish we would have been on Chill. You probably talked about this on Chill with Chill, 12 p.m. Every Saturday, by the way. You can catch Chill and Ox every single Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays as well. Steph Curry had a masterclass on Friday. He had, in that game, he had 49 points on 16 of 26 from the field, 9 of 17 3, 8 of 8 free throws. He was a +9. On the other end, Victor Wembanyama had 26 points, had 12 rebounds, had 4 assists, had 3 blocks. And he had probably the craziest block I've seen this entire season when Jimmy Butler got the ball and did everything he was supposed to try to finish around the rim with the money on the line, and Victor sent him packing. That was one of the most impressive plays I've seen all year. That Steph Curry game, y'all, it might be the most important great game we've seen this year so far.
I think Vic, how long his arms are, that just makes him so much more dangerous around the rim as a rim protector. Like, and you guys know how I feel about Evan Mobley. Bucket scores that on Evan Mobley, just off the length alone. Just off the length alone, because Evan Mobley can't get to that. He cannot get to that shot. Meanwhile, Stretch Armstrong over here can 100% get to that shot. Yes, he can. And I think that and don't get me wrong, down the stretch, De'Aaron Fox was not good, right? He bungled a couple of different plays. But and hear me out, real talk.
What do you want him to do? He wasn't.
No. It was just it was a long day Friday night. Night.
He was not. No, he was not. But I think the issue that I'm having is, one, I just got back in the lineup, and I never played with a guy like Mobley. No, not Mobley. I'm sorry, Wemby. Not only have I never played with a guy like Wemby, I'm getting back introduced to high-level basketball with Curry, who I'm not better than. So I think the problem that we're having is De'Aaron Fox is ass, which is what I hear all the time. De'Aaron Fox is ass. Well, compared to Curry, I mean, I don't think that's fair.
Chill. He don't have to be ass to not be a top 5 point guard, number one. And number two, speaking of box plus minus, that game, Steph Curry had a 25.1. Does that pass the sniff test?
Boy. I mean, 16 of
his
26 shots was at the long ball line.
It does.
Wow. He was fantastic.
16 of his 26 shots was at the long ball line.
Oh, shit, yo, Steph Curry, 26 should be from 3. Huh?
Yeah, he can do that. Yeah,
he had another one of those. I don't know if Steph Curry, maybe we'll get a peek of his house like we got Devin Booker. I don't know if he has a warehouse, for his basement. But I imagine I'm putting those threes over Victor Wembanyama from the Olympics, and from that game, I'm getting them plastered on my wall. That was amazing from Steph Curry. Full extended. Hey, what did Pirates say? A fully erect Klay Thompson, fully erect Victor Wembanyama.
And also, big shout out to Will Richard, man. I know that Jonathan Kuminga gets all the hype, right? He does, right? He gets all the hype because he's the 7th overall pick. But Will Richard, shout out to the Florida Gators. He won a national championship last year. He was the 53rd pick. Why do we keep seeing this? 54th pick, 39th pick, 40. Draft's getting deeper. Will Richard has been amazing. He has stepped into that starting lineup, and he has.
So we've got Tamani at what, 50, 55? 55, that what he was, Chill? I mean, Penn?
Yeah.
Sandro Mamakelshu was 54th. Tamani was 55th. Who else was a super late pick? Aaron Wiggins was, I believe, 55th.
Yeah, Aaron Wiggins.
If you can scout well in this range, even undrafted guys, right? Like there's a lot of guys popping up.
Bronny James was also a late
NBA starter, Bronny James. Put some respect.
NBA starter.
Bronny James. Absolutely.
So sure.
Is he?
Wait, Mark, somebody had a question. Can you provide the context? What's the context of the Trip one of fully let Klay? Can you remind
that was a PCL debate, but between Pirate and I think it was between me, Pirate and myself, where Pirate decided to take an interesting avenue in order to win the debate.
Yes, he won that round. That was funny when he came up with that.
Yeah,
shit.
So shout out to Pirate, man.
Yeah, it was Wilt Chamberlain, right?
Was it Will? It might have been Will. Yeah, I actually don't remember. I've kind of removed that from. I remember that statement. I kind of removed the topic. It might have been like a Larry Bird topic because I know the Pirate was mad about the side he had to argue. I think it was like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson or something. Pretty sure he made a Magic Johnson joke.
Yeah, that's the second most memorable PCL moment I remember. that was quite the run. Next game we'll get to. So the Bucks, they won this game on Friday, then ended up getting blown out. Real talk, what were they down to the Lakers? The next 35-point deficit.
Yeah. Well, we got it up to 30 plus for sure.
It was 31-62 at one point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was definitely tough, man. Was that a back-to-back for the Bucks, or was that the next day?
For both. Yeah, it was a back-to-back for both.
Right. So, but on Friday, Giannis had 18 assists. He had 25 points, 7 rebounds in that game, 2 steals, had a really nice block of Miles Bridges that I definitely stood up for. But it didn't matter because there's a certain guy. There's a certain guy named Con Knipple. I don't know if people know who this is. You probably don't. He looks like he might be your local UPS driver. He had 32 points, 12 of 20 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, and I'm talking reckless buckets.
Steals.
Three steals.
That's the rookie of the year right there.
I thought about you, and I wish one day on this channel we're gonna have the access to film, and I wanted to talk to Chill about this. They ran the split action with LaMelo Ball and Con Knipple at the top of the key multiple times, and the Bucks couldn't cover it to save their life. That dude he set that ghost screen, Mars. I'm talking about he was slip through there, fade out to the right, shaka, consistently, and then Miles Bridges misses the dunk. Miles must have been a pass. I don't know how it ended up in his hands, but he fake dunked it. It ricochets out right into the shooter's pocket, and he makes the 3 to tie up the game. But just a phenomenal game for the Charlotte Hornets. But shout out Giannis. Shout out to Ron Rollins as well. Kyle Kuzma had a great game. Yeah. That was a really good game, y'all.
Am I crazy to say that I think the Charlotte Hornets are like one of the most fun teams to watch in the entire NBA? They may be 4-8, but they are so awesome and fun to watch. Like Sion James, Con Knipple, when they get back, their big man, that's going to help a lot. And they haven't even had Brandon Miller.
Charlotte is that.
Musa never gonna get his respect. It's cool.
He's not.
Okay, Musa Diabate, Miles Bridges. Give both those guys.
You know why, Miles? Because Kalkbrenner is on the team now. Who's back?
Kalkbrenner's amazing too. Shout out to Kalkbrenner.
Yes, sir.
They have one of my favorite big man duos.
They've really changed their culture because to be fair, the last time I remember the Charlotte Hornets being like a team that I wanted to watch, Baron Davis was on that team.
That was 20 plus years ago. Wow.
That is literally 24 years ago.
Nicholas Batum.
Wait,
no.
What?
Yes, I'm skipping right over
Marvin Williams for a little bit, didn't they?
Marvin Williams.
Yeah, I'm skipping right over that bullshit. I'm skipping over the Michael Kidd.
You talking about UNC? Marvin Williams was a dog.
When they had Kemba, had Kemba and Batum,
Michael Jordan
and
ruined that team.
Jesus. What are you talking about, man? That was a fun.
No,
team
this is
watch.
this is the first time that I can remember in my adulthood that I actually like watching Charlotte Hornets games and don't want to pull my eyes out. So it is fun to watch. They're a young team, very exciting, very and they're competitive, man. And I'm not looking forward to my Raptors having to go up against this team tonight. I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Nope. That's who Charlotte is.
Shout out to Con Knipple, by the way. He's better than Luke Kennard already.
Easily.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Who got fired?
No, Paul George.
Breaking news. He's back, America.
Nobody cares.
Paul George.
Making
his debut of the season tonight versus his former team, the Los Angeles Clippers. Sources tell ESPN. Shout out Shams. George has been rehabilitating this offseason from left knee surgery.
What a front runner.
Officially back.
What a front runner.
That's great news.
Taking a team on a back-to-back that he knows that they're going to beat. All right.
Front runner.
Total front runner.
He's a front runner making a debut.
So he's meant to make his debut in a game that they're going to lose so that you can say he's not a front runner?
Yep.
Whatever. We're just going to ignore that and just slide right past that. I think Paul George coming back for the Sixers is going to be huge for their hopes long term. Obviously, he's going to be on minutes restriction today. And today means very little, and as long as he gets through the game.
Hey, man, shout out to the PG.
It's nice to see that they're getting back home. McCain is now back and playing in the G League. Paul George coming back tonight. Joel will be back, hopefully, at some point. And then we might see a whole Philadelphia 76ers team. at some point before the new year, which will be great.
Yeah, by the way, shout out Paul George is holding it down for us 35-year-olds, man. That's my dog. Shout out to my man, Paul George. I think he is Keon Anthony's GOAT player, I think, and for good reason. Also, I want to share this. This is also big news. Speaking of face of the league, Cade Cunningham reached a new 6-year endorsement agreement to re-sign with Nike and will receive his own signature shoe with the brand. His representatives at Excel Sports Management told ESPN his signature shoe is expected to debut in 2026, 2027. This is big news, y'all.
Generational wealth right there. That means that this Detroit Piston money, I'm living off the Nike money. This Detroit Piston money going to bank.
And you know what is even better about this, Chill?
Wealth, but sure, I guess.
Do you know what's so wonderful about this? Just, what is it, Mars? 2.5 years ago, we were having conversations to Cade Cunningham being the 13th best player in his draft class because he had
that was a real conversation we were having.
In his draft class.
Yeah,
and then here we are today, real talk.
Nobody said
by far the best player in his draft class.
Nobody said he was
man
the 13th
was his more likely
player.
outcome.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He was more likely to be a sick man than a star.
Yeah, and you did not have anything positive to say about this kid. You couldn't care less about him at that point.
Yeah.
Yes,
now he's by far the best player in his draft class.
Nobody said he was the 13th player in his draft class.
Not.
People said he was 13th in value replacement in his draft class, which is a totally
that
different
conversation.
How dare us acknowledge the implications of what was being said at the time? Yeah, how dare
No,
us.
that's not an implication. Your value of a replacement and your overall analytics profile can only be subject to the role you actually play. Not everybody is playing Cade Cunningham's role. So what was said at the time has been misquoted too many times. I've given nothing but flowers to Cade for a year and a half.
You have major adjustment.
Then you said he can't play the role that he's in right now.
First of all, stop
then
it,
you
Mars.
said he can't be a role player because of his play
Yo,
style.
Mr.
He's
Mars.
more than likely going to be a
Brit.
sick man.
Yo,
I heard everything you said, and you said Brit like a slur, but it's cool. I heard everything you said at the time you said it, so we're not
I
going
was
to
about to call you Coronation Street, bro. Let me tell you something.
We're not going to act like
was I the person?
We know what you said. It's cool.
Was
You've
I the
amended it, but we
person
know
who
what you
stopped
said.
the show because somebody else brought
We
up
know what you
Cade
said.
Cunningham potentially
We
being
know
an
what you
MVP
said.
candidate? You got the wrong
We know
one.
what you said.
Okay,
we know what
No.
you said. You've amended it since. Congratulations, but we know what you said.
No, we
We're
know
not
what you
going-
said. You tried.
Yeah, and he's
you-
still not an MVP candidate, and I'm still going to ignore that conversation. It's a nonsensical conversation to have because we know the MVP race is between Jokic, Giannis, Shea, and Luka, not Cade. Even though they're the number one seed in the East, everything that you said would have to happen for Cade to be an MVP candidate is actually happening. And guess what? No one has called him the MVP.
First of all,
You know why?
No,
because we have
it
Jokic,
hasn't.
Giannis, Shea, and Luka. He made his team 11-2. He got them at the number one seed in the East, the second best record in the whole NBA. And no one has called him the MVP.
Have
You
they
know
been
why?
healthy?
Because
Have they
he's
been
not good
healthy?
enough, like
they-
I said.
Have they been healthy?
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
stop
Victory
it,
lap
stop it,
something
stop it.
that's not actually happening.
No. I said that if they are as good as I think they will be in the Eastern Conference, and he is as good as a lot of people think he might be, then the guy who finished 7th in MVP voting could be up there, especially if some other people fall off. So let me be clear about something. I mentioned that he could sniff the award, and you proceeded for 2 straight days to troll that comment to the point where you were just disrupting entire conversations with like Cade Cunningham MVP. So that's how absurd you thought it was. Yet I'm the one who was super low on Cade.
Absurd. Yes, it is.
I was low on Cade when his team was losing 20 straight, and he was like, he had some of the worst rim efficiency numbers ever. Now he's still not efficient, but I will say this: he will get more efficient when he gets more space. And he hasn't had Jaden Ivey this year yet. He hasn't had a fully healthy roster for the most part. And I have said on my own lives that if I was not a Toronto Raptor fan, I would be a Piston fan because I love this team and I love how they play basketball. And I am not just
Spurs as well.
This is not damage control. This is not, oh my God, I had a stupid thing to say about Cade 2 years ago, so I'm going to amend it. No, this is a genuine appreciation for a player who has turned
Is he the best player in his draft class now?
I still don't think so. But I could have a conversation about number 2.
Who do you think is the best player in this
Scottie Barnes? And he's gonna talk about I'm low on
Scottie
Cade because I said he's not gonna be the MVP, but he thinks Scottie Barnes better than Cade, and I'm the one lower on him. Okay, buddy.
Scotty's amazing.
I did say Scottie's very good. He's not as good as Cade Cunningham. I did say that I wasn't on the MVP stuff, but I did think that Cade could make first team all NBA. I think if he put up the volume statistics. I think that's in play potentially. Maybe we'll have to see as the year goes on. I think obviously the 5 right now would be Wemby, Luka, Shea, Giannis, Jokic. But we'll see as the year goes on. Because if they're still the number 1 seed, because obviously that seeding plays a part into all NBA teams, because that's how D Mitch made one. And if he has like the volume of stats I said earlier was like, I thought he could do like 28, 8, and 8, like a Luka S.
He's currently doing 27, 5, and 10.
Okay, so he needs.
Don't think I ain't hear that.
He's
Because D Mitch had one with the standings, like winning didn't always matter when you was a first team All Pro as opposed to Luka.
I mean, to that extent.
Let's
get back to it. My fault.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
However,
the point is we all know he ain't the MVP, so you know.
Yeah,
Swiper, what's the gap?
MVP, but you can be on first.
Swiper's the host. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mars, what's the gap between Alperen Sengun and Cade Cunningham?
Cade is better. I'm comfortable. I don't know.
Are you comfortable saying that?
Yeah,
Cade is
I don't really think twice to say Cade is a better player.
Okay. All right. Because the reason why I'm asking, because he was in that draft also. That's what I'm thinking to myself.
I don't know if Evan Mobley missed Stinky this year, but like I wouldn't have Alperen Sengun. Actually, Sengun kind of good. I don't know. It's really Cade 1, and then like seconds is up for debate with like 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Murphy, Şengün, and my bad.
Trey Murphy off it now. No, Austin Reaves is in that draft class, by the way. I will remind you that.
Oh, he better than
Oh yeah. I mean, because he didn't get drafted. Yeah.
Jones Suggs is in that draft class.
Who's the better scorer?
Who's better? I do want to ask y'all up here. Who's better,
between
Austin Reaves or Scottie Barnes? I just very quickly. I know
Scottie Barnes,
but I'm curious.
Clearly,
Barnes.
it's clearly Scottie Barnes. But
would the Lakers trade Austin Reaves for Scottie Barnes?
Probably Scottie
Barnes.
Yes, I would say probably
easily, because he'd be a perfect fit next to Luka.
No, we wouldn't.
So would Austin Reaves be?
You wouldn't.
I'd probably say Scottie Barnes is better than Austin Reaves.
It doesn't matter.
Why would you not trade Austin Reaves for Scottie Barnes? Real talk.
Because Austin Reaves
he said a better fit next to Luka. I'm saying, well, it depends on if we have another secondary ball handler. And right now, I think Austin Reaves is that guy. And so right now, I don't think.
Here's the thing. I heard Bill Simmons once say that if you're the best player on a not good team, how good are you really? Basically in reference to Scottie Barnes. And now, last I checked, the Raptors have won 7 of their last 8. They had one of the toughest schedules to start the year. I understand injuries have played a part in it, but let's just be real. They didn't really have a starting center for the first 6 games. I don't think they've been out of most games. They were out of that Houston game because they were massively undersized with Jakob Poeltl compromised. They were out of that San Antonio game because they played like dog shit. They lost the Bucks game and the Dallas game kind of at the end, like right at the end. And the Philly was a trap game back-to-back on a second night of a back-to-back, and they started Scottie at center against Embiid. So my point is, of the 5 losses, I would say only 2 are really, really like definitive losses. And of the wins, they are very definitive wins. So I think y'all need to put some respect on the Pistons for sure. But I desperately think you need to put some respect on the Raptors. They are hooping.
Have the Pistons been the best team in the Eastern Conference?
And Milwaukee.
I had them number 2 on my power rankings, but I could see a case for them being number 1. Yeah, I could.
I think the Pistons' record is better than they are, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
Hey, is it ridiculous to think that Toronto could?
I mean, whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it my fault, Mars? Is it ridiculous to think that Toronto? I mean, they've won their last 3 games. Could they go on like a 10-game win streak? Like, for example,
they haven't played their best basketball yet. I will remind you, this is a shocking stat. Brandon Ingram is shooting 25% from 3.
Yep.
25% from 3.
He's never really been a knockdown long ball shooter.
He's a career 36 to 37% guy. Like he's good. Last year he was 40% on open catch and shoots. Like he's just not.
I'm looking at
right now.
But really quickly, Penn. I'm looking at the schedule. Y'all got Charlotte tonight. Y'all should beat them. Philly.
I'm not secure. I'm not too sure, man.
Y'all should beat them. Yes, you should. Okay, you got Philly. You're in Philadelphia on Wednesday. You got Washington on Friday.
That's
Brooklyn
an easy one.
on Sunday. Brooklyn on Sunday. I don't know what it is about Cleveland, but y'all own Cleveland. I don't know what it is. Can't really put my finger on it. You got Cleveland next Monday. You got Indiana again next Wednesday, and then at Charlotte. We might be looking at the Raptors running off like 10 straight.
I don't think they win that game in Philly, but I'm not sure because the last time we faced the Sixers, they killed us with Embiid. But we played them pretty close. So yeah, I mean, look, this team has not played its best basketball. Our 3-point shooters are not hitting. Our 3-point shooters are not making enough shots. It's really a sum of the parts is greater than the whole sort of situation right now because Jamal Shed has been amazing and Sandro Mamukelashvili has been. I don't think it's crazy to say he's been the best player in the league off the bench. I really don't. If you look at the lineup data, they're like 20 points per game better with him on the court. He synergizes everything. So does Jamal. So it's a lot of unheralded guys, but it's undoubtable to the people that were saying Brandon Newman's going to be the best player in Toronto. Scottie Barnes is going to be a complimentary player. He's not. Scottie is clearly the best player on this team. And I just want the world to recognize that Scottie Barnes is now no longer the best player on a losing team. He's the best player on a winning team and a team that is going to make the playoffs. And by the way, shout outs to you and shout outs to Vegas. If you took the Raptors over 39.5 wins, free money.
Well, let's relax, Penn. Like, I mean, I think we
no relax. I will guarantee you my I'll guarantee you my PC.
Are you ready to admit they're better than the Milwaukee Bucks?
Who are you asking?
Oh,
Chill.
Oh God. Okay.
Am I ready to admit that they're
why
better
do we
than
have
the
to
Milwaukee
admit that?
Bucks?
I'm
not ready to admit that. No,
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay, the last ass whooping didn't do it. Maybe the next ass.
I don't like the, and I can tell you this, Penn, because I know how you feel about your Toronto Raptors.
They don't play 20.
Like opening night, yeah.
And I do think that we can have a conversation about Cleveland.
But
I don't like the transition.
Go ahead, Chill. I have another team to bring up after this. Go ahead.
I don't like the transition defense. I definitely don't like what's going on around the basket when they play against Cleveland. And for some reason, Shed looks really good against this team. Really good. So, I mean, I think we can have a conversation, but yeah, we'll see.
Not to get lost in the Raptors show because we can end the Raptors segment there because there's another team that's 7-2 without their best player, and that is the Trae Young led Atlanta Hawks. They are frying. And I don't think people are quite up to speed, real talk, on just how good they have been without Trae Young this year. Now, I shared this online not too long ago, actually, just about some of the lineup information for the Atlanta Hawks. But just so people know, the main lineups for Trae Young this year are a gross negative. They are getting obliterated in the Trae Young minutes with any iteration of their team this year. But this year, when it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniel, Chills Guy, Zachary Ricochet, and Kristaps Porzingis, plus 4.2 net rating. When it's Nickeil, Onyeka Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniel, and Zachary Ricochet, plus 14.7. And Jen, just for the context, if you do the last 9 games for this team, would you know that the Atlanta Hawks are 8th in net rating with a plus 8.7? They have the 3rd best defense in the NBA, and their offense also is 12th in the league. So they're surviving with an above average offense, and their defense has been elite relative to the rest of the league. Y'all, I think there needs to be a discussion had, not a long one, that are the Atlanta Hawks just simply better without Trae because they're diversifying their offense, and the defense obviously has a much higher ceiling. Is it just as simple as Trae Young is no longer the best fit for the Hawks?
There's another reason for it. We've heard rumors, and again, this has been going on for 2.5 years, that his teammates just don't like playing with him. There's locker room tension. There's dissent within the locker room. I watched the team on opening night get whooped by the Raptors. Then I watched them in the second game. They didn't have Trae Young, and you're thinking it's an easy win, and it wasn't an easy win. They played so much better without Trae Young. How do you take a talent like Trae Young, especially when you don't have anyone who replicates his skill set on the roster in terms of pull-up jump shooting, passing, playmaking, everything that he does? Trae Young is an awesome player, not for this team. They are bigger without him. They weirdly enough play very fast and efficient basketball, and they have just enough shot creation between, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They have the spacing of, they didn't even have Kristaps last night. Onyeka is finally hooping. I've been a big Onyeka fan for like 4 years now. I'm nice to see him, have that. He's a 6'7" center. Like they're really just they're Vision 6'9" right now. You know, the Raptors tried that Vision 6-9 shit with Precious Achiuwa and Scottie Barnes and OG Anunoby. This is the actual Vision 6-9 implemented, and it's beautiful. It's great. So I would trade Trae Young in a heartbeat.
I've actually said to you guys, and I did get some pushback from y'all when I said that I actually liked when Trae Young went off the floor and they moved Dyson over to the 1 because it did work. He was able to get guys involved in the offense. He isn't the scoring bucket getter that I would like for him to be, but that offense definitely is humming when he's at the lead guard spot because he speeds them up. And even when we're in the half court, you know, getting guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the game and him coming off pin downs, I feel like Dyson knows exactly where to hit him, when to hit him when he's coming off screens, and the shots are way more efficient. And defensively, it's hard when you got a guy that you got to protect. Like when you have that lineup with Trae Young off the floor, we don't really have a lot of guys out here that we have to protect. A lot of these guys can hold their own. Now, I'm not jumping off the roof going, yo, we got to get Trae out of town, because I'm pretty confident that Trae is on the sideline looking at this group going, you know, what can I do to get back in here and help this team? But this thing does look really good without him. I mean, let's be clear, real talk. They were down 20 in the fourth quarter. Started the fourth quarter, they were down. I actually turned that game off. I stopped watching because I thought it was over. Only to find out that they came back and won. I was like, are you kidding me right now? These dudes came back and beat these dudes.
Chill. The Atlanta Hawks scored 47 points in the fourth quarter.
Unbelievable.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been fantastic for the Atlanta Hawks this year. He had another great outing against the Suns. I think he scored 16 in that fourth himself. He's been very good. I also like, I know what you're saying about Dyson Dane.
You said that dude's so good, bro. He is like legitimately, the fact that he went so represented in the league in the Utah years makes no sense, bro. He is so good, dog.
Who we talking about, Swiper? I'm sorry.
Nickeil. He brought up Nickeil. Nickeil's a ball.
Oh yeah.
He's a good offensive player now too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, when he gets rolling, he can definitely attack or close out and finish at the basket. He's getting a little bit more freedom in Atlanta right now, obviously due to no Trae Young, and he's been looking good. I'm also liking, you talk about Dyson running the offense.
Jaylen.
This little pseudo, not point guard, but like point forward, this Jalen Johnson. He can really see the floor and passes the ball very well.
I see.
And then on top of that, he's an A+ athlete. So them playing faster also just benefits his game as well. I don't know if it's all the way time to trade Trae Young, because he still is their best offensive player. But I will say this though. Trae Young is the archetype of the small guard who's high usage and high volume, but is an inefficient scorer. That's kind of weeding itself out. John Morant's having this same problem, right? You can't have the ball that much, and you can't score the ball efficiently from anywhere. Like at that
real
point,
talk. If they had Tyrese Maxey instead of Trae Young, they would be like a number one seed level team in the Eastern Conference. Yeah,
they need some kind of scoring punch from their point guard position if they're going to have the ball that much. So. And we're learning that playmaking, even being a great playmaker, doesn't counteract the fact that you are that efficient of a scorer. Like Trae Young and John Morant can still pass the ball to a very high level and playmake to a very high level. However, if you're sub 40% from the field, I mean, it doesn't matter. And you can't play defense. So now with Trae Young off the floor, they're a better defensive unit. They're playing faster, which caters to the athletes that they do now have on the team, that they planned on them being around Trae Young. But even without Trae, they're still athletes. So, right, we can get after it defensively, rebound, go. And, yeah, they've been looking
real
very
talk.
good.
Would you because I think this is at this point, it's like a salary shedding move. You know, he's making I think, Trae Young. By the way, Jalen Johnson in the last 8 games is averaging 60 passes a game. That's in track what he was doing last year. So just for people to understand, like he is a very, very high level passer in the
Trae's
NBA.
making $46 million.
But
So
that comes off the books at the end of this year, though, Mars.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I would use that space rather than waste that space because you can't use it in the offseason to the same degree as you can right now.
But I also don't want him to walk out the front door.
It doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily come off the books, and I will actually almost guarantee it does not come off the books.
Yeah, because
the reason is there's no team in free agency that is paying him $48 million. I hate to break it to y'all.
You think he's going to exercise his option?
He should. He'd be stupid not to. And the only reason he would not do it is because he thinks that there's some team out there that is willing to facilitate some sort of sign and trade where they're willing to give him the contract. But point to the team right now that is looking at what is happening with the Hawks. Look, man, we've seen this before. We have seen players go out with injury, their team blossoms, and the narrative shifts. We start looking at your weaknesses now. We're like, hey, we weren't so good with you. We're super great without you. Now, why do I want this guy on my team again? You know what I mean? Like we had this conversation with Ja Morant 3 years ago.
Because he could
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they were sustaining without him and they were kind of mediocre with him. And it's just like, is Ja Morant really like the needle pusher, like the needle mover that we think he is? So I think right now, I think teams have just for a couple of years been awake to Trae Young's deficiencies. And there's a very specific type of team that could use him. Not at $48 million though.
Is this a good spot? Because so just think with me here, Penn. Now maybe this seems like a short term. We have an older star, a younger team. Meaning if this doesn't work, it's not going to disrupt it because it's only 2 years or a year and a half. We have an older star. We want to maximize the next year and a half. Does this make the most sense for the Houston Rockets to take Fred VanVleet's money that he's making, plus whatever additional smaller assets, and simply put Trae Young in this role and allow for him to have a year and a half to run with the Houston Rockets team? Because I'm thinking about the Magic as well. And real talk, I don't love the Magic fit with him. Like, I don't love it. I feel like he'd be better in a more positive offensive situation that also has defenders. If I was the Rockets, I would seriously consider this by the time I get to January. But then the other question is, real talk, do you want to disrupt what's happening with the Rockets?
That's
if they're still a top 3 seed,
and that's where I'm at. I don't want to disrupt that. Our offense is with Sengun being the hub. We play point guard by committee. Sometimes it's a men, and Reed Shepherd is developing into a really good point guard. I don't want to give the ball to Trae because again, Trae now comes in, and that takes away from a lot of what these other guys are doing. I know Mars wants to put Amin Thompson right back at the wing, which would help, but I also don't want to take the ball out of his hands neither, because I do want him to be a developing 1 wing and 2 lead guard. I do want that to go on with him. Trae, we're in a space with him where now we have to get back to protecting him. Like, we don't have that problem right now, and that's going to disrupt our defense. In addition to we already got a really good offense. We're going to have to protect him. We're going to have to focus a lot on him on defense. And why do I want to bring that in, especially for like it's going to be like $24 million, because by the trade deadline, I mean, half the deal will be up. So it's not like it's going to be a completely $46 million. No, by the trade deadline, half the deal will already be paid for. So with that being said, I think I'm good on Trae Young in Atlanta because we got something going on, and I don't want to disrupt that.
Joe, how would you feel about swapping right now, just assuming that the Clippers want to get a little bit younger, Trae Young for James Harden?
No.
Who says no?
The Clippers.
The Clippers say no.
Why?
Because James Harden is box office. That's number one.
Trae Young is
better than Trae Young.
And on top
of course
that,
he's better
than Trae Young.
But you the oldest team in the league, and I don't know if this is breaking news. You got to rebuild. You got to rebuild.
We're not rebuilding around Trae Young. No, we're not doing that. Not at 27 years old.
Well, I think that should tell you that Trae Young needs to pick up his player option, because if you can't get 36-year-old James Harden, cool. Like, you're washed.
I don't know. I kind of can see the Houston fit. I just think it's come to a point to where Trae Young, I mean, he just needs to know that it's time for him to adjust his game a tad bit. Like, he can't be on ball as much. But I still think, like, I mean, Trae Young's still a damn good basketball player. I don't want to get misconstrued like he's not good anymore or something like that. He's just inefficient. I think the Rockets can put him in some positions to be a more efficient scorer of the ball, right? Playing off of KD a little bit, playing off of Sengun, stuff like that. And he definitely can get a man off the ball, which chill. I don't love it. I don't love it. I'd like if a man gets a rebound and pushes or something like that, cool. Great athlete. Get out on the open floor and make stuff happen. But in the half court, it just gets difficult when he's your main ball handler because of how defenses can play him. But when he's in the dunker, he's amazing. But
so I'm gonna
it's
make
just
sure
not
we
so
honor
simple
the
to
time.
make a 1-for-1 trade, right? Because
Yeah.
Trae Young makes $46 million and Fred VanVleet makes 25, which means you got to match $20 million
add, like,
salary.
Finney Smith and all that. Yeah,
Right.
we don't know if they'll do that. Yeah,
But you also have to get a yes from the from the Atlanta Hawks, who are in a competitive, wide open East, and you're asking them to take on Fred VanVleet, $25 million a year, and you have no idea if he's going to recover from this or if he's going to be good after it. That's a negative contract right now. You're going to have to add a lot of sweeteners to get Trae Young in Houston.
Yeah, so we'll have more time to talk about this. Obviously, as the week goes on, Trae Young, we'll see what happens. This is probably gonna be an ongoing discussion. And spend the rest of the show on super chats, y'all. From Ms. Hazel 20, $35 super chat. I love watching the panel. Being a senior college student, what do you think about Audi Crooks drops 43 points in 20 minutes for Iowa State over Valparaiso? Is it Paraiso?
Valparaiso.
Val what? Which two different answers here?
It's Valparaiso.
Yeah, Valparaiso.
Yeah,
No,
that's
Valparaiso. I think it's Valparaiso. I think it's Valparaiso.
It's
Personally, I think
Valparaiso.
That school, man. It was that school. It was that
I heard
school.
multiple answers. I'm pretty sure I said it right the first time.
Valing
them.
That's the school that Jabal went to, Mars.
Yeah, I know. You told me. Yeah.
Shout out, man. Audie Crooks. I wish Ox was here to talk about this. Audie Crooks has been phenomenal. She is one of the 3 best players in women's college basketball this year. I'd be curious to see kind of what happens the rest of the season, but yeah, she is
big
phenomenal.
girl.
Yeah,
Big girl.
but she's one of the best post players I've ever seen in college basketball. Like,
does it translate to the next level? Like, is she just that strong that
if she's
will
that
hold up to the next
skilled?
level?
Yes. If she's that skilled, yes.
She's. I don't know.
I mean,
she's that
they
skilled.
are putting her in pick and roll after pick and roll after pick and roll.
They're going after her.
But,
Yeah, but Shaq,
No, not Shaq, but
Oh, okay.
And then we got another super chat. I'm Drake. $5 super chat. Man, top 3 defense in the league. I know we didn't start well, but adding Kyrie and hopefully an 80 will fix everything bad about us right now. Coop, rookie of the year, by the way.
No, that's Concanipple. That's Concanipple.
Yeah, it was VJ Edgecombe, Concanipple, but it probably will end with Cooper Flagg.
Cedric Howard. Cedric
Howard still having
started
a
now.
season.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah,
But yeah, Cooper Flagg, he 4th in rookie of the year, maybe 4th.
This is a really good question. Anatomica Studios 2884 $5 super chat. Since 2000, who is the worst player that was the best in the world?
So in 2000, who was the best player in the world? So in 2000,
Shaq from old.
Shaq's not the answer. We know that. Shaq's not the answer.
Neither is Tim Duncan. Neither is Kevin
Tim
Garnett.
Duncan,
Neither is LeBron James. Neither is KD. Neither is Steph. Neither is Jokic.
Yeah,
never Bryant. Neither don't leave Bryant out. Please don't.
Well, someone has to be the worst. So we can't say it's none of these guys.
No. I know who the worst player is because some people said Dirk was the best player in the world. So there's your answer.
I think we're going off consensus now.
Got to be
consensus. I'm not saying this is the opinion I hold.
Sure.
But consensus was Shaq was the best during the 3-peat years. So 2000 to 02 it was Shaq.
Correct.
Then 03 was Duncan. 04 was KG. That's the consensus. 05 apparently it was Duncan again. So he's the consensus. Then you're looking 06 to 08. The consensus was Kobe.
Yep.
Then 09 to 2018 was Bron. That was the consensus. 19 Kawhi. 20 consensus by the way. 19 Kawhi consensus. 20 Bron again. 21 consensus. Who's the consensus? 21 Giannis. Sorry. Giannis 21, 22 Giannis. Both those years. And then 23 onwards, the consensus has been Jokic. I would argue the worst player of that group is Kawhi.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Probably.
If we're doing that. Well, but the only reason he got
for real.
Actually, no, I think Kawhi is better than 05 Duncan, actually. So, yeah, I think the worst answer is 05 Duncan. Yeah.
Who's the most boring best in the world in the last 25 years?
That's a different question. I will remind you, I don't actually think...
I think 05 Duncan is the worst player.
No, first of all, during the regular season in 2018, 2019, I don't think anyone in the world was saying Kawhi is the best player in the world.
Yeah, but after the season they was. So
that's just because of the playoffs. That's just because of the playoffs.
Yeah, no shit.
And that's why they said the same thing about James, that he was the best ever because of the playoffs.
That's normally how it goes, yeah. I'm talking after the season. After 2019.
So you're telling me
2019
that
offseason,
Kevin
Kawhi was
Garnett
viewed as
became the best
player
player in 04 because of what he did in the playoffs?
Well, because once the Pistons won the championship and Kobe played like shit in the finals and Shaq got destroyed defensively in the finals, they couldn't say it was either one of them. And Tim Duncan's team didn't go far in the playoffs either. So then you go to the KG guy who won the MVP on a weak Minnesota team that went to the conference finals with his second best player being hurt in that series. Yes, he was the easy answer to go with the best player.
And he was arguably the best defensive.
So
player
yes,
in the
even
game.
after the playoffs, yes, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, he was arguably the best defensive player in the game. Also.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, then I don't think you can skip over the fact that Steph was the best player in the world.
Okay, he's better. He's better than 05 Duncan too.
I don't. When we say okay, if we're going off consensus, I find it hard to believe that it was consensus during the time of like the Shaq Kobe era that it was consensus that Kevin Garnett was the best player in the league. Not that he wasn't actually playing the best. I'm saying we're going on like people's opinion of the sport. I highly doubt majority of people in 2000.
I thought it was still Shaq.
Like
real talk,
like
the only thing that matters,
the fan, not actual the casual fan.
I don't know. From what I've read, forums and stuff, KG seems to be the overwhelming name. I feel like history has been more unkind to KG than how he was viewed at the time. He was viewed very positively during his peak.
No, I'm not saying he wasn't viewed as one of the greats in the era, but
I wasn't around, so I will defer. Like, if you guys remember different conversations, I can only go off what I've read on forums.
Yeah. I mean, Kobe. Was that Adidas Kobe chill at that point in 04 prior to everything happening?
He had dealt with Nike.
So he had switched from Adidas to Nike.
Yes, he had switched from.
So Kobe had the most. Or that was Afro Kobe, and so Kobe had a lot of.
He actually cut the
not
Afro
in 04, not in 04. He didn't have the phone in 04.
What year did he cut it?
03, 03. Well, no, 01, 02 he didn't have it. Yeah.
So he was a fade after that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
just that ball Kobe.
Just the Caesar. No, he just had the Caesar.
Yeah, just a cool little low cut. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in my memory bank in 2004 when I was roaming the hallways of my school, I would probably say it was Kobe. But I was like a child. So,
well, to your point, Mars, the Kevin Garnett fanfare became a big deal because he had gotten to the Western Conference Champions. Like, finally, we're here. Mm-hmm. Like he's doing it. This guy's been rotting away in Minnesota. He was the lovable loser at that point, like kind of like the Cubs. Yeah, he was the lovable loser. Like everybody was wondering, like, when is KG gonna get to that point? And when they got to the West Finals in 04, it was okay. He's here now. Maybe they can beat the Lakers and get to the NBA championship. There weren't many people who thought that they could do it, like realistically, but the consensus was on KG's side to beat the mighty Lakers and take them down. And that's how they looked at KG during that time.
Because when we talk about consensus, I feel like that brings in. That conversation includes popularity. I mean, whether we like it or not.
And
I
history.
And so like Shaq and Kobe at that point already three-peating, and then in 04 they do get back to the finals. It's like I think for most people, I would find it hard to believe that most people just casually were saying Kevin Garnett's the best player in the league. Not saying that he didn't play the best. Again, I'm just saying like the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he did, but I feel like I did speed run it. Like, there's obviously going to be more context to best in the world conversations. I tried to just get through as quick as possible.
Sure.
Yeah, that I'd probably argue, like, I wasn't around once again from like 04 to like 04 and 05. Those 2 years, I would argue there probably just wasn't a consensus the same way there was with Shaq and then when Kobe ascended. But like Garnett just played better than everyone, so I thought it was just easy to just give him the year. But like, if you guys want to push back on that, like say someone else, cool. I'm just still gonna say 05 Duncan is the worst player, regardless.
Well, I think Kobe was getting the reason I pushed Kobe because Kobe was getting all the comparison stuff. Like when LeBron and Melo played, the highlight of the NBA was Bron, Melo, Kobe, T-Mac, Kobe, whoever Kobe. So, but who knows? Next, that's a great super chat. That's a really great question.
Yeah.
Anatomica Studios 28884, another $5 super chat. You guys had the audacity to say that J-Dub and Scottie Barnes are better than Jaylen Brown. Not even close. Jaylen Brown is balling this year.
J-Dub and Scottie Barnes.
I would still say J-Dub is better, but Jaylen Brown's definitely better than Scottie Barnes. That's not even.
All I know is that Jaylen Brown's better than Derek White. That's all I know.
He
That's
100% is better than Derek
Who
White.
said he wasn't?
1,000%.
That's all I know.
Oh,
right here.
another.
This one right here. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Another $5 super chat. Ayub GRG, £5. The Lakers have exceeded expectations, pushing for the 3rd seed in a loaded West without LeBron. How sustainable is this run, in your guys' opinion?
I guess I'll speak on this because I'm.
This is your second
Well,
team?
some would say I'm not a.
You are the resident Laker fan. Yes,
yeah,
you are.
apparently I'm not a Laker fan or a Luka fan
Poly-teamer.
because I give Luka some criticism. How dare I, chill?
What is your
Criticize a
you
player
are
that I
talking about
like.
Luka?
Who do I think I am?
The hell?
Talking about Luka Doncic in a non-glazing way. I think it's sustainable. I think when LeBron gets back, we're going to be the best offense in the league. I truly believe that. I believe you can't blitz Luka as much as he's been getting blitzed lately when LeBron and Austin are on the floor. Aiden's been fantastic at the center position offensively. His touch is unbelievable. He's a good pick and roll partner. He's finding that chemistry with Luka. He's always been good with Austin. Austin has been great.
That part.
Laravia has been cool. Didn't have a great game against the Bucks, but he's been great for the most part in the season. However, I still don't think I don't think we're one of the 3 best teams in the conference. I think we'll make the playoffs. We'll be an elite offensive unit in a mid to bad defensive unit. That's tracking. That's what I said before the season. That's tracking during the season. I've also I've been getting the heat from Luka FC because I don't like how he's been scoring the ball recently. If you go back, I wanted to make sure I wasn't, tripping or delusional, chill. So let me see. The first 2 games of the season before he went out with the leg injury and the hand injury, both games he scored 10 plus baskets, like field goals,
buckets. I made 10 buckets.
Since then, he's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Only 2 of those games he's registered 10 or more made baskets. It's been a lot of grifting and 3-point step back shooting here recently.
He wasn't good against New Orleans. He was not.
I don't like it. I need him to start getting back downhill, get into those 2-point shots. Because what Swiper said earlier, which is correct, I want Luka leaning into his 2-point scoring because he's so good at it. If you look at his field goal percentage from short mid, long mid, at the basket, it's fantastic. I'm pretty sure he's 50+% from damn near all of those spots on the floor. So those shots are more repeatable. So please, all I'm asking is, hey, can we get to those shots that are easier shots that you make more regularly? That is all my complaint about Luka Doncic.
Hey, Luka, be safe.
Okay.
So that's what you say.
So 2 things really quickly, Penn. Two things really quickly. Jaylen Brown this season reminds me of what Scottie Pippen was. What I mean when I say that is,
oh God,
I knew that Scottie Pippen was good when Jordan retired. I didn't know he was that good. I still thought Jay was the better player, but I didn't know that Scottie was
watched the
good.
Boston Celtics last year. You know that this is what
I didn't
Jaylen
know
Brown
he was
does
this good, though.
He did this last year.
No,
yes, he did.
No, he did not.
What did he do last year?
Yes, he did.
wasn't 35 and 5, Penn. No, he wasn't.
What did he do?
He wasn't really. He actually scored pretty.
No. Hang on. When Tatum was out of the lineup for the last 2 years, his scoring rate is unprecedented. It goes up mega.
Tatum
doesn't miss a lot of games, but he does miss minutes. Okay, and in those minutes, you can see that Jaylen Brown's offensive production goes through the roof. So yes, this is very easy.
She'll
to
have
see.
to end it there on that one because I want to make sure we get to the super chats. But that's a nice point. We have Jonathan Frazier, $5 super chat. Swipe would be having me ready to run through a wall with these promos, man. Let's go, man. Hey, Ron, ship that host of the year and MVP to Swipe ASAP. Y'all like the way I do the
Well, first and foremost, I came in second in league MVP vote, so relax on that.
Yeah, but that was a longevity award. The panelist of the year was the actual.
Can you imagine Real Talk being criticized for being awesome for something, a long time?
Yeah, you were runner up for the longevity award. You're runner up for the longevity award.
I'm good at something for a long time.
Who has the most minutes on the panel between you and Ron? And then you came in second in that race because he yaps, and then you yap a little bit the rest of Ron. All right. Shout out to my dog Ron, by the way. We got AP, a pimp named Step Back, $5 super chat. Jokic light with defense. It's the second best center in the league. Respect Shin Goat. Also, Cade got the tool in Reed Shepherd's back.
He 100% put the battery in.
Who is? Oh no, Wemby. I was going to say who is the second best center in the league, and I forgot Wemby exists. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, and Anthony Davis is still living too.
Oh yeah, Anthony Davis doesn't live. So does Joel Embiid then, I guess.
DSG Piccolo $5 super chat. I was talking about AJ DeBansta fans a bum team. Wait, I was talking about the AJ DeBansta video fans of bum teams post after losses swipe. But by the way, y'all, that is an incredibly bad run-on sentence. DSG Piccolo. Just use your comments. It breaks it up way better. I promise you. Now, because you know Ron tries to read through these, y'all, and like y'all just be full sentence paragraph. Just break it up a little bit. Klingon don't defensive rebound 2 and no touch early though.
So the way the sentence should go is I was talking about AJ DeBansta.
Well, unfortunately, $5 super chats.
I was talking about the AJ DeBansta video.
Period.
Okay. Fans of bum teams post after losses swiper.
Period.
No, there should be.
It's not that hard. The
swiper is in italics. Okay, the swiper is sarcastic. It's sarcastic. You know, you got. This is why y'all don't appreciate Ron. I'm just gonna say this. Sometimes I
no, because Ron just starts adding words that aren't even there to try and
which aren't even there.
Because Ron reads on predictive text. I don't know how to explain it. You know when you're typing on your keyboard and if you have predictive text on it, or try to guess the word you're typing in. Ron reads with predictive text. He tries to anticipate the next words, and then they're not there, and then Ron is just saying things.
That's not what he said, Ron.
Writing. So that's what Ron does. But I don't think it's that hard to read without punctuation, especially when you have to pay extra to get enough characters to add punctuation. Like you better just figure it out.
I mean, it's just. I will say, sentence structure is somebody who is in the literature. It doesn't matter a little bit, but maybe it's just me though. Hello, 55 or 55, $5 super chat. Milwaukee needs to go and grab Herb Jones. I think they also should do that. And Malik Monk. I think they also should do that at the deadline ASAP. 5 of Rollins, Monk, Herb, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Miles is dangerous.
So
I also think that would be great.
I think Herb would be nice in Milwaukee.
So one, I'm loving Kyle Kuzma on defense. I'm loving this. This is actually working. And number 2, real talk. Why do they think that these dudes just gonna be handing over players? Like, here, just take Herb Jones. You got him, no doubt. No, that's not the way that works.
I don't know who they're going to give up to get.
What the hell?
Either one of them, real talk.
Gary Trent and Kevin
Porter
Jr.
No, they're not.
Yeah, you give up Kevin Porter Jr. and Gary Trent Jr.
I mean, maybe the Pelicans are just trying to, be bad on purpose. I don't know. I don't know how they get Herb Jones.
They're definitely not.
Yeah, they don't even have the money to aggregate to do that unless they're trading.
First of all, the Pelicans traded their pick away, so they're definitely not trying to be bad on purpose.
Yeah.
Unprotected, by the way.
Bad accidentally.
Yeah. Next super chat, DSG Piccolo, $5. Also, we had a players meeting about the defense. Dumb A shots just to keep up the BS. No more Caleb Love minutes, please. I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, Portland's have been on a little bit of a skid recently. He's very disappointed. Been blowing a lot of games.
They're so inconsistent. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah, Shade has been putting up his 25 and his we'll take our small victories. Exactly. Shout out to Denny. The numbers he's putting up box score wise rival Paul Pierce's best season box score wise. Just putting out there. If you needed more of more evidence that box score numbers mean less than ever, that would probably help.
We got another super chat here from Malmo, £2. Demon Coop better than Luka at 18. Hashtag we done with 77.
No. He's not even close.
Dub Cope though. Dub Cope, respect it.
No. Cope? Is there truth in that?
Wasn't Luka the MVP of a league at 18?
Yeah,
yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Okay, well,
Luka was
if
leaps
Coop
and
was
bounds better.
Slovenian, then maybe he would be the MVP of
Yeah, maybe if Cooper's playing in the EuroLeague now instead of the NBA, maybe he'd be the MVP. Who knows?
He would not be the MVP of EuroLeague
I saw Cooper Flagg.
Well, maybe that's because the EuroLeague
buckets.
now is
That's all
tougher
I
than
know.
it was back in Luka's cupcake era.
Okay, we watched Luka as a rookie. Cooper is not going to touch that, but hopefully at some point his offensive game comes along. His defensive ceiling is way
this
higher.
is from Canada. Can you read this name, please? He is anonymously anonymous. Yeah. So two Canadian dollars. You want to read this one?
How many players do you want in a series before Steph Curry?
Depends who the opponent is. And then who's on the rest of my roster?
Probably like
it's Houston. It's Houston. We got to see Houston in round 1. How many guys are you taking over Curry in that series?
Like 6, maybe.
So Ann Edwards, Shea for sure, Luka just guard. Ann Edwards, Shea, Luka.
Are we talking just guards?
I'm just going through guards first.
He said players. That's what he said.
Yeah,
He
so
said players.
Luka, Cade.
He's going in position.
Cade?
Probably.
No.
Yeah, at this point, Cade.
In a playoff series?
Maybe.
I don't know. What's around Steph means a lot to me. I'd have to know.
Oh my
who's
God.
around Steph.
Donovan Mitchell?
No.
I was thinking Donovan Mitchell too.
No.
Oh no, Ime
No.
struggles coaching
No.
against Steph Curry.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We're not saying for the future.
Steph,
We're not saying
breaks
for the
teammates'
season.
minds.
We're talking about a playoff series here, and I do care that my player here in Steph Curry has championships and championship experience and big game experience, right? So no Cade.
Cade should have been up 3-1 versus the Knicks last year. To be fair,
100%.
it's probably like 8, maybe 8 or 7.
I would take Jokic. I would take Shea. I would take Giannis. I would take Wemby. I would take Wemby.
Wemby's never.
And I would take Luka. And after that,
yeah, he
honestly,
just said he wants experience, Jill.
Yeah, never been to the playoffs 0 times.
When we went to the finals in France, so
you don't care.
I don't.
And a lesser league,
so it changes based on the
when
player.
we went to the finals in France.
Okay.
So I don't care.
Are we comparing Cade Cunningham to Wemby now?
Yeah, Cade
is that
has
what
more
we're doing?
experience than Wemby.
Well,
in the playoffs.
if Cade's going to be an MVP candidate, I actually have to compare him to him. Thank you very much. So yes, I am comparing him.
Yes, man.
in a singular playoff series, I think what Wemby can do to raise the floor of my defense is valuable enough that I can forego any experience that he lacks.
But Cade should have been. He was up 3-1 had he not gotten robbed from a Tim Hardaway 3 in the quarter.
Okay, he doesn't elevate my defense the way
Tim
Wemby
Hardaway,
does.
by the way, having like
We didn't get a chance to talk about them. I wish I could.
Yeah.
They beat the Wolves without their guys.
Tim
I was
Hardaway is
just
having like the best year I've seen.
Yeah,
him
man.
in a
Swag.
while.
No, but they're wide open threes though, too, bro. He's like, but the move. By the way, the movement threes from Tim Hardaway, bro. Real talk. He caught the ball, did a fake pass, and one motion, boom. And I was like, ooh.
He looks like he likes that break on the left side of the floor too.
Tim Hardaway, that new MPJ, man. He ain't seen a shot he don't like. He just shooting everything.
Swing the pill over here. It's going up. Yes,
the Timberwolves are the dynasty starts after Rudy. I'd say that. The way that Denver just did not guard Rudy Gobert was actually.
You predicted a masterclass from Ann Edwards on Saturday, I believe, and I think he was like 3 of.
Yeah, and he couldn't have one because nobody's guarding Rudy Gobert. Literally, they're not guarding.
Well, actually, the on-off data would say that they're way better with Rudy Gobert on the court. So
I know that's his defense thing.
All right. Glaze. Tupac Westside 474 $5 super chat. Morning, guys. How do you feel like a dude Thero?
Yep.
He only played a few minutes, but he showed a lot of promise.
He got 2
About
points.
6
he
minutes
got the game ball.
Blowout? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, promise.
We meant to analyze a player based on 6 minutes in a blowout?
Yeah.
No, we're not.
No,
oh, come on. Be serious.
Okay, first of all,
Pen. We don't have time. We don't have time, brother. I know we can. Yeah, we can get it. That is another conversation. Pen, we can have that conversation later this week when we talk about it.
Dude's amazing. We're gonna analyze. Dude's awesome. He's gonna be good. He was good last year. He's good. Late riser. Good stuff.
Delsky $5 super chat. Hey, real talk, my boy. Question. That's how you use a comma. Did Luka show Giannis its levels, quote unquote, or that only applies to the real best in the world SGA? W show, W host today. KD still the clutches.
Yeah,
I bet
so
you
everybody
regret glazing that grammar presumptuously.
Everybody's been referencing that levels tweet. Mind you, I didn't put any specific.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I didn't say it was the Lakers, OKC. Look,
You see the code before he even got the sentence
I
out?
could have been saying Chet Aiden. You don't know what I was saying. I just said it's levels to this basketball. You know what I'm saying? So hey, you don't know who I was referencing. So you took that into your own interpretation. I'm talking about Luka and Shea. You don't know who I'm referencing.
We already have the clip on
Plausible
TikTok of you
deniability.
saying, I dropped the video today saying Luka's better than Shea, and I'm a stand on it. That's what you
still
said.
don't mean that tweet was about them.
So, even if that tweet wasn't about them, which it was, even if that tweet wasn't, plausible deniability, that clip alone is enough.
You know what that sound like to me, Swiper? I wasn't there, but it sound like it really do look like you on tape.
Plausible
I can't say it, but
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, being down
but
30.
it looked like you.
That was tough, real talk. That's definitely a tough out for you, brother.
Yeah, it was nasty.
And we got what is this? Ruin CB, Ruin and CB, BZ, whatever, 45, 11, $40. What is this? 40 what?
I couldn't tell you.
40, whatever it is. Thank you for it. Harden over Kawhi since the second half of last season. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
No, Kawhi was in that second half of last season.
Yeah, second half was pretty crazy.
Overall, in terms of games played and stuff.
Malmo to whatever this is.
Are you
pounds?
kidding?
That pounds?
That's pounds, yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I get it all correct. Rockets can have $36 million. Kyrie for DFS plus Fred VanVleet plus a Phoenix 2020.
Fred VanVleet has a de facto no trade clause because of like the 3-year thing, whatever it is. So
I don't know how
Fred's not going anywhere unless he wants to go.
How the hell he get that? I have no idea.
It's the same reason Jackson Hayes has one. I don't keep up with contract stuff, but like if you stay with a team and re-sign a contract, something, they give you a de facto no trade clause, like it's built in or something. So I'm pretty sure Fred has control of where he gets
due
traded.
to the CBA. There's a limitation when you sign an early extension, what point you can be traded, and when you can be traded. If that date is after the trade deadline, then it is effectively a no trade clause because you can't be traded.
Yeah,
that thing.
And then Anime Spurs fan 90, love the pod guys. WinVP loading Mars 03 Duncan or 94 Hakeem.
I think Pete Hakeem is better than Pete Duncan.
He wants you to say Duncan. Just looking at.
I know. Shout out to Clint. He be pushing that Duncan propaganda.
Ms. Hazel 20 came a YouTube member. Really appreciate that. Always appreciate the love.
Absolutely.
Who is Scats member for 9 months? Give a LeBron hand checking and he clears MJ. Interesting concept. And then we got Chief Trey member for 27 months. Y'all know who he is. It's Kevin Durant. No screen. Amen. And then I
don't blame him for trying to bring Desmond Bane into the action, but Katie just didn't need it.
Yeah, he said, "Get your ass."
Yeah.
Hunter _TV member for 20 months. W Timothy Hardaway Jr. having a phenomenal season so far. And then Brax the One member for 21 months. OKC back to back. Unc Katie still good. Swiper still shirtless. Dub. And then we got I don't think 1169 member for 38 months. Shout out to the panel going to the Sixers versus Clippers to celebrate my birthday today. Hoping for a Harden Maxey masterclass. PG might make his debut tonight as well. Blessings to everyone. Happy birthday to you, fam. Hope you have a wonderful, spectacular day. I hope you grow in wisdom, stature, and favor with God and among men today. And then we got Kingster MH became a YouTube member. Shout out. Got another love again. Yeah, that's the one I asked just now recently. And then we got currency test for Swiper. What's the R pin?
Brazilian real.
Real. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I'm learning new things every day. I'm still developing myself, so thank y'all so much for that. This has been a great show, you all. We literally had so much fun. Got through everything on time. I deeply appreciate Real Talk being spectacular today, Pin for being great today, Marsh for being great today, and Chill for being the MVP. This is Player's Choice. This is the panel. Make sure all 1,600 of you like, share, and subscribe as we continue to build this community up. You know what time it is. We will see you on the other side.
Ron, take notes, Ron.
Merry Christmas.
Take